Get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Fichettes?
No. I don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
You're also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of an attempt to... You got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempt to criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made... You have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made... Are you a known racketeer?
Good evening. Welcome to Interrogation. I'm Joe Lanou, your host, and Interrogation is the show where my group of friends, law enforcement officers, attorneys, former law enforcement officers, and intel service veterans watch police interrogation videos, and we kind of give you the inside scoop on the tactics that officers will use to get your confession and make one that is legally binding in court. Tonight with us, we have Jason. He's a 30-year veteran with law enforcement. He's also the inventor of the 3D response system, a school safety system that we'll look into a little bit later. I suggest if you hadn't been to that website and taken a look, you should spend about 15 minutes on it and then call whoever you need to call to make sure that gets in the school that you have loved ones in. And we've got Lucian. Lucian is a veteran of the Intel service. He looks at, been trained in human assets, looks at interrogation slightly different than law enforcement. He's in it for the long game, but his insight's always crucial, and we enjoy it. But welcome, Lucian.
Thank you, sir.
And then we've got Dr. Doug Ahern. Now, this guy is not only an attorney, but he's also a former federal law enforcement officer. And first time he's on the show, so we welcome you. But I think he's got it's going to have a unique way to look and point of view to look at this, because he's going to be torn between the law enforcement side and the lawyers saying, shut up. But I think it'll be interesting. And welcome, Dr. Doug.
Thank you.
And sitting in the quarterback seat tonight is my co-host for Night Court. It's Fidgy. Fidgy hates the left, but she's not always that callous about things. But she's going to sit in the kind of watch the camera type of thing, and we'll get her take on, I hate to say it this way, but a layman's term on what they see in these type of interrogations. So I'm curious to see that point of view. But guys, we've got a lot of video to run through tonight. So I'm going to get started. The first one is, this is a triple homicide. A mother, father, and 18-year-old daughter killed at their home in California. It was covered by a fire. So the bodies were burned, the structure was burned, but they found bullet holes in the remains that remained, which began a murder investigation. This case actually went cold. We're going to see the interrogation of two suspects, a former boyfriend and the former boyfriend's friend, lifelong friends. We're going to start out with the boyfriend first, and you're going to see an unsuccessful interrogation on this, quite frankly. But I think it sets the stage, and I think there was some things gleaned out of it. If it was nothing more than committing him into a story that they were able later to prove not true. But you're going to see the limits on DNA, see the limits on fingerprinting on the evidence that they found. They found a business card nearby. They use telephone mapping to be able to show that he was near the home. And you'll see in the interrogation where they can make him commit that, no, I wasn't there. I don't know what you're talking about, sort of thing. And it all comes into later for a successful prosecution down the road, but it spans more than 10 years. But let's get into it.
Going on, don't tell me if I'm under arrest or what the deal is.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to kind of explain everything that's going on, so you're kind of well aware. You doing all right now? You don't have no physical injuries?
Oh, no, sir.
Anyone mistreat you?
No,
Make
sir.
you any promises, threats, or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. You know who I am?
Are you Leclerc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detective Leclerc?
Yes, sir.
You remember who I am?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea what's going on today?
Well, it obviously has to do with the Freedleys, Rebecca and her mom and her stepdad.
Okay. You on probation right now for anything?
Yes, sir.
What are you on probation for?
It was petty theft.
Okay. And that's all taken care of?
Yes, I just finished my community service for it.
Okay. Obviously we're here because I've been investigating this murder for some time. Some information came to light. I've taken some information to a judge. He reviewed the facts. He kind of agreed with my assessment. Obviously, we had the search warrant for your home. I have a search warrant to collect your DNA. Is that all right with you?
But that's fine. The blood sample or?
No, it's something easier than that. It's just like a saliva sample. You know, you just stick a Q-tip in your mouth and collect a saliva sample from your cheek.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm sure you probably have some questions.
That's something I'd volunteer. Obviously,
Okay.
there's a little more reason for the search warrant, me being detained and everything.
Okay.
Well, and am I under arrest or,
Well, you're not free to go right now because we got a obligation to meet our requirements of our search warrant and obtain certain things. But let me, if you have something to say that could change my mind or my direction, I'm really willing to hear what you have to say. However, because you're at the police station and you've been here for several hours, I am required to read you your rights.
okay.
Okay. So let me do that. Obviously, you've gone through the court process before with this
The petty theft.
this petty theft thing. What do you think about all this?
I just don't know what would lead you to believe that, I'm responsible for it. I understand that, speaking with me and everything, just the fact that, I was close with her and things like that. I understand that. I just don't, I don't understand what, validates like the search warrant and things like that. I don't understand.
Okay, well, I'd be happy to kind of explain some of those things.
No one said if I'm under arrest or if I'm not or what.
Well, we're talking about Becky Freedley,
Okay.
okay, and her murder.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's some of the things we're discussing. How do you feel today about talking to me about that?
Okay, I want to pause it there and kind of go around the table and get an initial feel for this. I'm going to say first off that the interrogation room would make me uncomfortable as an investigator. I don't know that I like that. It needs a triangle table for sure. I'll say that before Rude does. But and remember the evidence that they have. They have a partial footprint, but it's just a partial footprint. They have a business card found near the 18-year-old daughter's body who was in a wheelbarrow behind the house, burned. They find it, and there's a trace of DNA and a partial print. They don't have it all. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. They don't have it all locked down. They can't put him at the scene. They've got enough evidence with cell phone mapping that gets him near the house, but doesn't put him at the house. He has a bit of an alibi with his best friend that we were together. We weren't there doing the whatever heinous act you accused me of. And I think this investigator is walking a very fine line. It's one of the few times I think, and I'd like your guys' opinion, but I think it's one of the few times that they're going in and he just doesn't have everything lined up. He's going to rely upon a confession to get this case moving. I think this case had hit a standstill. This is some 1 or 2 years after the offense, by the way, what we're looking at now. And I think this case had hit a standstill, and this was a last-ditch effort to bring him in and walk him slow to see if we can get him to jump. But what do you think, Jason?
I think he had to step away for a second, Joe.
Okay, let's go with Lucian. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a little weird. I feel like the investigator's laying a little too much out, and just kind of assuming he's going to get the guy to say something pretty quickly. But I mean, the kid sitting in the corner immediately says, "Am I under arrest?" And he keeps repeating this question. To his credit, the investigator is kind of talking around that, but he just looks like he assumes he's going to win this encounter. But I agree with you about the structure of the room. This is a weird room.
It is. I mean, I kind of like that it's tight like that, but I think I would have preferred a table in there for maybe for my comfort even. I'm not sure. Dr. Doug, what do you think about the beginning on this and with the background information that I've given you that they're not going to be able, I don't think he's going to be able to walk him in and tie him up on his own shoestring so that he has that much information. I think he needs this guy to break. But what's your impression besides he should have walked out of there hours ago?
Well, was this his first interview? Do we know if this is his first one?
I think there were some witness interviews as far as we all knew each other's circle of friends, people that are close to the victims, I think is how this started.
Okay, but yeah, so if this is the guy's first interview, I'm not going to disparage the technique. Yeah, you're right. That's not an interview room. That's an interview closet or container that they're in. That's ridiculous. But that being said, I didn't hear him read his rights, but that might have just been they might have skipped over it. The only thing that I'm thinking is look, he better go in there, knowing some things that the guy doesn't know that he's going to get to. Because right now the suspect feels totally in control of this whole thing, which maybe that's a technique, to make him feel more comfortable to say something stupid. So
yeah, I don't disagree. I think he's leading him to believe he is, and he actually could be. Maybe I'm misreading it, but I think that this investigator's got to play pretty easy. This guy is asking, "Hey, I'm under arrest." And I think that if he lawyers up, that's going to stale this investigation all the way up. And I think he's cognizant of that. And I think that's why he's slow playing. Of course, I have the benefit of doing the editing on this. So I kind of know where the road goes. But let's go back to it. I just want to get everyone's Fidgy, you got an impression on this?
Nothing other than the room is weird. I would like a table if I was the detective. But sitting the guy in the corner and then getting like right up on top of him is kind of funny. Like he's very close there. And I think Jason's back.
But each one's got a back against the wall. That room's pretty small.
Yeah, but the guy's in the corner itself and it's just so close. Like there wasn't room for a table. If he calls a lawyer, where's he gonna go?
That's not the purpose of the small confinement. It's to make you uncomfortable. That's one of the purposes of an interrogation, is to take you out of your environment, put you in a foreign environment, and then start squeezing you until you get uncomfortable. We're going to see it in our second video. It is just textbook. Go ahead.
If you were put in the corner, you wouldn't feel uncomfortable?
You want him to feel uncomfortable. You're missing my point. You want the subject.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing, Joe.
Can I clear that up real quick?
Please do.
Okay. So there's soft interview rooms, and then there's hard interview rooms. This is more of a hard interview room. A soft interview room, there might be a window in there. There might be a couch. It's very comfortable. It's a free to leave statement. It's not a Miranda statement. If you're reading Miranda, you want a hard interview room if they talk because you want to make them uncomfortable. The soft interview rooms are more they're free to leave at any time. You want to make them comfortable that they don't want to, they know they can leave, but they're comfortable. So that's the difference between what you're seeing here and a free to leave interview.
Okay. Jason is 100% correctly. I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning. I think the purpose of this interview was I don't have anywhere else to go. Let's bring in our prime suspects and see if we can crack them or at least commit them to a story and catch them in a lie. And I think that's what was the purpose of this. And I think that's also the purpose of the hard interrogation room, as Jason calls it, is to intentionally make that guy uncomfortable. He's in a chair with no wheels. Investigators got a chair with wheels. And y'all remember what I say. If the police invite you in for a little chit chat and they set you in a chair with no wheels and they have wheels, you should ask for an attorney. This conversation is not going to turn out well for you. But let's continue.
Like in what way? It's, I mean, like, do I like about that case in general, or actually talking to you? I mean,
No, how do you feel about, does it make you sad, make you happy? I mean, she was a friend of yours.
well, yeah, we dated for over a year, about a year and 2 or 3 months and stuff, and yeah, we were really close. And yeah, when it first happened, it was, I mean, it was, hit kind of close, but it, it's just, over time, just like I had a uncle die about a year ago or something, and then, that was bad too, but just a little bit of time. But I guess the worst part now is just not knowing, what happened.
Okay. If you had anything to do with what happened to her, you need to tell me right now.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Okay. Do you know for sure who did?
No.
Do you have any idea who did?
I've not the slightest idea. The only thing that, I'd spoken with her family, they talked about how her mom and her stepdad were in some kind of serious debt, and they brought up the idea of something about like a loan shark or something, but I mean, I'm not saying that's like something I seriously believe or anything. I don't know.
Is there anyone you can eliminate from this investigation?
Well, Christian, I suppose he was the only one who was with me during that time.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know anyone who would or who wouldn't. There wasn't. I haven't found anyone to have any motive to. I wouldn't understand why.
Well, tell me why you didn't do it.
Why I didn't? Well, aside from the fact that there's no gain for me. I was already broken up with her. It wouldn't benefit me at all. But other than that, I wouldn't kill anyone anyway. I mean.
Do you think you're capable of doing something like that?
Killing someone? No. I mean, especially the things I heard. Found her in a wheelbarrow or stuff like that, and it just seems really gruesome and stuff. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Do you actually think it happened the way people say it happened?
I don't know how anything happened. All I know is that she was in the wheelbarrow and 2 other people were in the house. Or actually, I don't even know if the wheelbarrow was outside. I just assumed, but.
Did you ever tell anyone, even jokingly, that you were involved?
No.
Are you willing to take a polygraph to verify your truthfulness?
Well, I mean, I just don't. I just like to know like why it is so. Like why I'm such a suspect. I'd say, I mean, if we're getting into like all that, I suppose that I'd want some sort of like legal advice. Some sort of advisor.
What if someone had told me that they saw you driving on Highway 74 that day?
I'd say they were mistaken.
Okay. Do you remember that day?
The only reason I remember as much as I do is just because I had said it so many times, before, and it, I mean, I know what I was, things I did. I don't remember times at all, really.
Okay. So with that in mind, you think you could kind of give me a recollection of that particular day?
I worked that day, and I suppose I drove home. I think so. I think I had my car at that time, and before that, I had just gotten rides with Christian. But I suppose I drove home, and I was supposed to hang out with Christian that day, but I hadn't gone to church because I'd worked the morning mass. The church we go to is at 10:30, and we missed that, and they don't have an evening mass. So I was going to try to go out to a mass at Sacred Heart. And as we were driving out that direction, I gave them a call and found out we'd missed it. So we went back over to Christian's, and they were playing games at some point, and then went paintballing. I don't believe we stopped anywhere. I think we were just driving, and then we ended up turning around and just going to his house.
Okay, so tell me specifically what happened when you got to his house.
Oh, crap. I really don't remember that day very much at all anymore. I probably should have written it down or something, but I think we just got to his house, and we wanted to go paintballing him, but because the gun that I had I'd gotten it from my friend, and it didn't work all that well, and I was going to try to see if I could get it to shoot right. And so we were hanging out at his house, and ended up going out there, and we're out there for a while, and came back. And
what do you mean by going out there?
Oh, we went out to behind James Orkin Middle School. There's like that big desert area, but there's a spot where there's a lot of like tables and chairs and a bunch of stuff that people brought out there specifically for paintballing. So that's where we're going out to play with the guns. But just basically trying to fix my gun the whole time. I think Christian's worked pretty well.
Were you able to use your gun at all?
Oh, yeah, I fired a few, I believe. But I mean, it kept leaking air, so it didn't last very long.
Did you guys talk to anyone? Anyone come by that you know and hey, what's going on?
Well, no, because it's kind of like back like behind the school almost. So I mean, you're not gonna like see someone driving through the.
Well, I mean, no other paintballers there.
Mm-mm.
You talk to anyone on the phone while you're out there?
I don't believe so. If anything, maybe my girlfriend or something, but I don't know.
I mean, would you typically have your phone with you?
Sometimes, but I mean, we were planning on doing some like, little skirmishes, just us two. So if anything, I'd probably put my phone in the car or something, because I wouldn't want to get it all dirty, because it's all desert.
Okay. Would you leave your phone on or off?
It's very possible I'd turn it off.
Why would you do that?
Why would I turn it off? Just because it saved battery. My phone, a lot of times I'll use it to, it plays MP3s, so a lot of times I'll use it to play that, so it runs down the battery fairly quickly.
Well, what's this deal with all this hiking business?
She had invited me to go hiking, and I had told her I would, and I didn't,
Okay, we have a question by Laura and a response by Rude that I'd like to weigh in on, because I think it's important. At one point, he says, well, I don't know if I need a lawyer. He kind of talks about getting a lawyer, but he wasn't very direct about it. Dr. Doug, how do you feel about that on the attorney's side? If someone's in an interrogation and it's like, man, I don't know if I need a lawyer. The cop didn't say, no, you don't need one. He read him his rights. And by the way, both interviews we have tonight, they cut out the actual reading of the rights, but they talk about doing it, and we know they had consent afterwards. So we're going to assume that they had proper reading of the rights and being advised of their Fifth Amendment right not to speak. But what's your opinion on that, Dr. Ahern?
Well, number one, my friend here just simply needs to shut up. Watch 48, first 48 hours, the people that don't talk always walk, and he is now going into detail. You'll notice that now all of a sudden he starts talking about that he had communication with her up and, right? That was the last thing that you cut to. So he's digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper. I do have a concern about the technique that the police officer is using, because he's soft stepping the whole thing and then he dives right in. But to your question, the invocation of your right to counsel has to be clear and concise. You cannot say, well, I think I maybe need to talk to a lawyer. The wishy-washy does not fly. You need to say, I want an attorney, period. Okay. They're supposed to stop asking questions. They're supposed to ask you, or they're not going to tell you to stop talking. If you invoke your right to counsel and then you continue to run your mouth and they don't ask anything else, everything that you tell them at that point is still admissible. But once you ask for an attorney, the interview should shut down.
No, absolutely, and that's the way I was trained, and the way I always conduct interviews. And I'd like to get Jason to weigh in on this before we go back to the video. That you have to say, "I want an attorney," or "I want a lawyer," or "I invoke my right to remain silent." Although, if you invoke your right to remain silent, doesn't mean I can't still keep talking to you. We'll see if I can break you. But at the point, I want an attorney, or I want a lawyer. That's close the books and walk out. We're done at that point. But Jason, how do you guys do it in Minnesota? Use a phone book?
No. If the comment he made was, I don't know if I need an attorney or not, or if I need to talk to somebody or not. I probably would have said, "Are you asking for an attorney?" Just on the premise, if it goes to court, our county attorney's like a nice gift wrap bow, and we've been kind of taught to clarify, "Are you asking for an attorney?" And just that question alone will shut it down if he says yes. But I don't know. It's the law is the law. I don't think you need to ask that, but that's what we've been kind of suggested to do when that little phrase comes up.
Yeah, I think that's an opinion of a district attorney in your jurisdiction, and it's unfortunate because I'm not asking you if you need your rights. I read you your rights. They're very plain. I have you sign a document. Do you understand them? You understand you don't have to talk to me. You understand that you can stop this interview at any time. You understand all that? I was pretty straightforward with that, and we're talking grown-up games here. So if you want an attorney, you need to ask me for one. You're not going to hint around about it. I'm not your mother. I'm not going to figure out how you feel about it.
No, I agree. Like I said, some county attorneys want a nice gift wrap bow that they don't have to argue certain points, and that's kind of what we have up here at times.
Well, Dr. Ahern, I mean, you understand legal defense. If you had a client that had phrased it just like he did, I'm not sure if I need legal advice. Would you try to get that thrown out in court, or what do you think your chances are?
Chances, according to current case law, are probably not real good at getting it thrown out, but I'm still going to give it a shot because if you can shut down, it sounds like at this point, his mouth is about all that they really have to go on, and so that's going to be a major component to their prosecution. So and I understand what Jay's saying, absolutely. That some they're but if you turn if it's so hard at that point because you want him to keep talking, but if that's the requirement of the jurisdiction that you ask at that point, but the police officer is in no way, shape, or form required, okay, to give you legal advice. Well, if you don't know if you need an attorney or not, you know what? I mean, and he has the right to invoke his attorney at any time, right? He could pop back up and say, you know what, interview's over, I need a lawyer. So
and the warning they get lets them know that you can stop the interview at any time. You can request an attorney at any time. It's all completely up to you. You can stop talking or start talking anytime that you want. Is pretty much what this all Miranda warnings will say, especially for an interrogation.
Sure.
But and I want to go back again. The murders occurred in 2006. Something that was very significant, 2008-ish, 2009-ish. That's when the federal government required, if you were a carrier, produced phones in the United States, that you had to have the GPS feature turned on. Prior to that, with cell phones, if you wanted the GPS feature, you had to pay for it. And if you didn't pay for it, then the best they would be able to do is ping you off of towers. Once again, this is one of the problems the investigator has. He's got everything kind of lines up, but he can't put the person on the scene. He says, I haven't been there in years since we broke up in January. This murder happens in September. I don't know. I wasn't there. So the best they have are cell phone towers pinging. I think it's a rural area where the homicides or the murders occurred, not homicides, the murders where they occurred. But I don't think they've got it locked down to the point where they can put him on the property. I think if they did, then this interrogation would be completely different. They'd have enough to put him in handcuffs, but I don't believe they have enough to put him in handcuffs just yet. So, and I'll go back to that again. I think that's why we're seeing such a much different than we've seen in previous shows, the tact I think this investigator's taking. But I do believe that he's got a team behind him, and they've talked about how they were going to conduct this interrogation or interview. And I think their purpose is to try to walk the tight line to get as much as they can get until the guy lawyers up. But that's my opinion. Let's get back to it.
I wasn't planning on going because I knew she would have kept on bugging me, so I just said I would. And then I was planning on just, canceling, last minute. And then, then she didn't go hiking with whatever guy she was going hiking with or whatever. That was it.
And when was this?
When was it? Wait, when was?
You're telling me about a hiking event. I'm asking you when that was.
Well, that was the thing. That was when that was the night we were supposed to go hiking, and it was supposed to be me and her and some other guy who I don't know, and that was the night that happened.
Is that what happened?
She was, that they were all good.
Okay. Well, tell me about this other guy.
I don't know. I honestly can't remember whether she said he was a Marine or if I just assumed he was, because that's who she associated with a lot. I'd heard about her and one of her sisters got going and hanging out at the Marine base, 29 Palms Marine base kind of a lot, hanging out with the Marines there. So, I like I said, I'm not sure if he actually was or not.
What makes you think, why would she invite you up there if she's inviting someone else that you don't know up there?
I believe that she still had feelings for me. I was the one who broke up with her, and she didn't like that. And I moved on. I'd gotten my current girlfriend, and I'd moved on and everything, and I was trying to slowly kind of just shut off contact with her, but she still wanted to hang out with me.
Okay. So, why would she invite you up there and invite someone else that you didn't know?
I don't know.
I mean, that wouldn't impress you, would it?
It wouldn't. The only thing I could imagine would be that she'd want to make me maybe jealous or something, but I mean, okay. I'm only speculating. I don't know why. That was, it seemed odd to me at the time, and it's kind of another reason why I didn't want to go.
Well, where does Christian fit in with this?
Christian doesn't fit in with the hiking trip.
Well, remember when Becky came over to Christian's house?
Yeah, I was at Christian's house.
Right.
So I guess that'd be the only time he fits in anywhere.
Okay, so when Becky, this was the day before the murder.
When she came over?
Right.
Was it? I believe it was, but I wasn't sure.
Becky called you and said she was in the area and you were at Christian's house?
Yeah,
and
she said that she was doing some homework or something with a friend of hers or something. She said she just wanted to stop by and say hi or something. And I'm like, well, I'm over at Christian's.
Okay. So when she got to Christian's house and talked to you, was Christian present?
I think Christian walked out, and I think he just said hi, and I think he walked out one more time to say bye or something, but I'm not sure if he was there. I don't think he was standing there the whole time. I can't remember.
Was he involved in the hiking conversation?
No, there was...
Were you going to go up to Becky's house with Christian?
No, I wasn't.
Were you going to go up to Becky's at all?
Well, I wasn't going to.
It was never your intent to go up there?
It was never my intent to actually go hiking.
Okay. Did you lead Becky to believe that you and Christian were going to go up there together?
No. I don't believe so. I believe I just said I was just going to go.
Okay. So why would other people believe that you and Christian were the ones going up there?
I'm not sure. I mean, I suppose it's possible that maybe he was included since he was there, but I as far as my recollection, I thought it was just me.
Earlier you mentioned something about a wheelbarrow.
Yes.
What was the deal with that?
Well, Javier told me, he called me and told me that there was a body in a wheelbarrow, and he later told me that it was her body.
Okay. Have you ever seen a wheelbarrow at her house?
Well, I don't know, there's all sorts of tools. They had a little old tractor and things like that. I imagine there would be a wheelbarrow. But I don't believe I've personally seen it.
Okay. So if you haven't personally seen it, then it's fair to say you've never touched it?
I wouldn't imagine, but I've played around in their garage before, just because he had a lot of power tools. I know if I've played with the different tools. Some are power tools, some are gasoline.
Right, but there's a difference between tools and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
You know what a wheelbarrow is, right?
I know what it is, but like with the phone thing, I just assumed. I'm not going to say I never touched it, because it's possible that I've touched it before.
How could it be possible if you never recall seeing one?
Well, I mean, things can be somewhere and you don't remember it being there.
Well, surely you remember a wheelbarrow.
Well, I mean, I don't know what their garage looked like after the fire. It could look like, in the pictures I saw like online, it looked like that side wasn't the garage side wasn't as burnt as bad. So I don't know if the garage is okay. But if you've seen it, there's a lot of stuff in the garage. So it's kind of like my grandma's garage down here. There's a lot of things in there, and I'm sure I've touched a lot of them and couldn't recall it being there.
You know what DNA is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm talking about not DNA from years ago. I'm talking about DNA and fingerprints that are left at a crime scene.
Okay.
You know, that's stuff that you say, hey, this is stuff that's left now, not from 6 months ago or 12 months ago and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So she died on a particular date. Okay. We processed the crime scene for evidence. Okay. And certain evidence was collected. Okay. And that evidence tells us certain stuff, and it even gives us time frames. Okay. So would your DNA or fingerprints indicate that you were at that house on a day?
You're asking me?
Yeah. That she died?
No, it would not be there.
Okay. Becky had feelings for you. Did you have feelings for her still?
She was a big part of my life, and I couldn't just cut off everything, but it was, I was in the process of moving on. Definitely there wasn't as much feelings as there was earlier.
Okay. So let's take like the 7 days prior to her death.
Okay.
Because I understand, you guys broke up, like what, January of 06?
So we broke up in January, that would make sense.
Do you know when she died?
September, because the year
Do you know what
anniversary
day?
just came around. No, I don't know.
Okay. So in those 9 months, have you guys communicated, or what was the relationship in those 9 months? Specifically, say September. I'm sure February, maybe you guys talk more than September, or vice versa, so tell me how that worked.
I think the time that I had spoken with her, like the night before or day before or whatever, before the murders, whatever happened.
It was a murder.
Okay, all right. Then I hadn't spoken with her in a good amount of time, because I was, like I was saying, I was trying to slowly stop the communication, just kind of move on.
Yeah. I don't know what you mean when for your time frame, a little amount of time.
Okay, I honestly don't remember the last time I had spoken with her before that. It was probably more than a month.
Did you talk to her on the day she died?
The day? Yes.
Okay. How many times do you think you talked to her on the day she died?
I believe once.
Okay. Did you see her that day?
No, not that day.
Okay. The day before she died, you talked to her in person at Christian's house?
Yes.
Okay. Did you? And I know you said she called on the phone before she got to Christian's house.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's 2 communications that day. Did you guys have any other conversation that day?
Wait, 2 communications that day? There was, wait.
She called you, said I'm in the area, and I'm gonna come by. Then she showed up at Christian's house.
Okay.
So you guys had 2 conversations.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. I'm going to break this down because we're going to cut this one off the top of the hour, and there's some more portions that I do want to get to. But what we've seen the investigator do, in my opinion, is he's laid the groundwork. At the same time, in case you didn't catch it at the very beginning of the interrogation, this gentleman is there after he was picked up. They run a search warrant on his house. So, and they've removed him from the scene while the search warrant was ongoing. This investigator later on, we're not going to watch this part because it doesn't really lead to anything, but he asked him about, hey, because every time he walks out, he's getting more information from what's being found at the search warrant. So he comes back and he asks him, but hey, why do you have so many different types of bullet casings at your house and in different calibers? Why do you have so many? Where are the guns that shot these? He said, well, I don't have the guns that when I go shoot, there's a particular area that I'll go to and I'll pick up these casings. I don't know how that ties into the case, but he's leading him down the road, I think, pretty good, and he's getting what's locked in. If you notice, remember the phone records. There's a piece of information that you guys don't have that I do have. Through witness and friends that they've interviewed of the victims, this guy is the ex-boyfriend. They broke up in January of that year. She's killed in September of that year. He says, I've had no contact. This is why the investigators asking, how many times have you had contact? How often did you talk? He says very rarely, if any at all. But they did after, he says very rarely, nothing at all, but until the day she's killed. Because her friends of the dead woman's friends say she says to them before she dies that she was going to go hiking with this guy, that he invited her to go hiking. He says, no, she invited me to go hiking with some Marine dude. And of course, I'm not going to do that. I think she still had feelings for me. But these same friends also say that that he would call 30 times in a row, that he was pretty much stalking her and was doing anything to try to get her back, that he was the scorned lover in this situation. So and I'll go back again. If the best that you can get out of this as an investigator at that point in a case that's starting to stale up is get him locked in that he's got something to hide. I'm looking at maybe the right person, and I'll just keep digging. I think that's a win in this type of interrogation. But Lucian, what's your opinion on it at this point?
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because the guy's not giving a whole lot of physical tells, which, knowing the background of that, kind of implies that he feels justified in whatever actions, if he's guilty of doing something. He has convinced himself that he's okay with it, or that they don't have enough information. Maybe he's a little too confident, but his details are all over the place. And what I think is interesting is his approach to all that is, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever. He's not really trying to correct everything. He's just trying to find ways to dismiss it, which, I don't know, seems a little odd to me at this point.
Well, he's got some tools in his toolbox, right? I mean, in 3 years' time, and you ask me for something specific, I could be telling the truth and say, you know what, I just don't remember that. Or I could use the time as a reason why I don't remember something that could be incriminating or would box me in. What he's trying to do, he's trying to dance without getting pinned into the corner. He's trying to stay in the middle of the ring in this fight, and the interrogator is trying to get him pinned into a corner. And I think he's done a successful job at that. That may take years to play out. So
let me jump on to your comment about you feel the investigator's doing a good job here. I don't know that I agree with that. I look at what he's doing as, like I said earlier, still making assumptions. He's just kind of shoving things forward. I feel like he's rushing some of this, but I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm not entirely thrilled.
Let me ask you this: Have you seen the suspect alter or change his story?
Oh yeah.
Why do you think he did that?
Wait, the suspect?
Right.
Oh, well, he's making it up as he's going along. He's obviously trying to cover for whatever deficiencies are being caught. And I understand your point, but I still feel like there was another approach, because I understand from the law enforcement standpoint, what you're trying to do is get him to set a baseline and then catch him where he strays from that. I get that. But again, in my approach, I would be looking for someone to give a disclosure that they hadn't intended to. So that's what I'm judging the interrogators or investigators' behaviors on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Dr. Dub, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, I think he did. I think he actually did make a disclosure, because in the very beginning, it was like, hey, we've been broken up for a year now. I hadn't, like, we didn't hardly have any contact, and like I was trying to get away from her basically.
Well, if you're the suspect, that's the story and the impression you want to leave with the police, right? That I didn't know her well enough to kill her, right?
That's what he told. I was over her. I was gone. I was out of her life. So you know what? It doesn't really mean anything. Well, he does clarify later. He starts talking about their relationship. Yeah, there still was feelings, so on and so forth. Well, he did have a very specific tell in a couple things. Number one, this hiking trip that they were talking about, that hiking trip was recent. That was recent, close to the murder, correct?
The day of.
Okay, all right. So the debt now. So we went from I haven't even heard or really seen her. If you go all the way back to the beginning of the interview, okay, that's what he was saying. Now it is, we were supposed to go hiking like literally the day she was killed, and his tell, what really stood out to me was when he was talking about this other guy that was supposed to be there. And I think, and I'm not going to quote the guy, but I know I heard something about, yeah, and you can hear the voice inflection of him saying, well, yeah, just some guy, I she wanted me there, whatever. Like he thought we were supposed to go out hiking together, like she wanted to reconcile or something. And now all of a sudden, this guy injects himself, and then, well, maybe he's a Marine. What he's subconsciously talking about, like a threat from this other dude.
Because I'm seeing it something completely different. If I'm the investigator, and the investigator knows through over 3 years of talking to the close friends of the victims, that day she hadn't had any contact with him other than him calling her on the phone, like a stalker is what the friend said. And remember, even in 2006, they'll be able to pull those phone records and know. They may not know exactly what you said, but they'll know that contact was made. So I think some of the witness statements have been corroborated. The investigator has that in his pocket. The other thing he has in his pocket is that day, according to friends who were very close to the victim, that was the 18-year-old girl, his former girlfriend, said that she was saying it was very odd that he wanted to go hiking with him and another friend. She didn't have a Marine friend that was going to go hiking. She didn't ask him to go hiking. He asked her, but yet sitting in front of me, everything you said about the Marines gone out of my head, because you started lying when you said she invited you. See my point?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so we have, some major stalker tendencies, okay? And there is some delusional behavior there, as far as, him still thinking that, the relationship is still, possibly something that it is not. But the sense that I got was that, he was seeing this person as a Marine as a threat. Okay, probably, a threat to his relationship, and possibly a threat to him physically. There's a reason that he described the guy as a Marine, right? So I mean, I don't think I don't think I'm reading too much into it, and I think that the investigator, I think the investigator really needs to get him to talk more about his relationship and his feelings for the deceased, because I think ultimately it's going to end up opening up where he will totally contradict himself from the very beginning, which will lead to why he did what he did.
I see your point. You're looking more into the motive. I was looking more at the tactics there, that if I can get you to lie about something that's kind of important in a murder investigation, I'm going to let you go. I want to get all that on tape of you lying so I can prove you wrong later. But I see your point that could be the ultimate motive for the action of the crime in the first place, was jealousy of her moving on.
Absolutely.
Jason, before we go back to the video, do you want to step in with a comment?
I apologize. I had to step away. I wanted to go back a little bit. There was 2 questions that I thought the detective asked that were very key. The first one, he just point blank called out, did you kill her? And he deflected, and he kind of went towards, what do you have on me? The other thing that kind of he asked, could you kill somebody? I want to see somebody angry there. Like, no, he never really came out and like, do you know who killed her? Did you kill her? No, I didn't kill her. It's like those 2 points there, the deflection and the lack of emotion of, I didn't do this from the heart, kind of set my tone up a little bit, that that was a point I didn't trust this guy.
I don't think the investigator trusts this guy. I think that's the reason he's there. I think they've built up enough, but I think there's enough holes in it that even if you got the indictment, you wouldn't get it at trial. And it's a triple homicide. I think they're taking it extremely serious. Folks, this interview goes just this way, all the way through. He'll alter his story when he's confronted with some facts that are contrary to that, or he'll just say, it's been 3 years, I don't remember. At the end, they get a buccal swab for his DNA. And remember what I told you about the business card that was found near the 18-year-old's body. It has a partial print, not enough to be able to identify a person in court. And it has a partial on DNA that is not at this time. It's called contact DNA. At this time, it's not sensitive enough to be able to pull a read off the card. So they're going to bag that. But they take the buccal swab from this guy, and they're going to take some photographs here. And then they've got another tactic that they're going to employ. Remember, I told you there was 2 people, this gentleman and another one, that were suspects in this crime. And they used each other for an alibi. The whole paintball thing. Oh, well, I was with my friend. If you ask my friend, he'll say he was with me. But we were both involved in this, is what the theory of law enforcement is. And they use a common tactic, but it's always an interesting one. Here in just a few seconds when we go back to the video.
Go shooting. I was just collecting them.
Where'd you get them at?
1,000 Palms, where I go shooting.
He's asking him about the casings. The investigator's been notified from the results of the search warrant that there were numerous shell casings there. When you have gunshot victims on a homicide scene, if your suspect's house or any ammunition you find is going to be of great interest to you to see if you can put it together. And I imagine it was quite disheartening for him to get a phone call. You get how many different calibers and how many different casings and all this. So he's asking this suspect about that now, almost in a casual manner.
You mean you found them?
Yes.
Well, why were you collecting those?
Just a collection of just different calibers and stuff.
So my question I'm asking you is, what's your fascination with all the knives and the guns and the bullets?
That's just what I like. It just looks cool. I watch a lot of action movies and just things like that.
You got anything to add from the things we discussed today?
No, I don't.
Do you have my number?
No, I don't. I don't have.
Okay, you talk this over with some of your people, okay? And you get back with me, okay? What I said makes sense to you?
Yes.
You want to do whatever's in your power to solve Becky's murder, exclude yourself from this whole situation. Well, you know what you can do.
Right.
And then again, maybe you just need to be truthful and let things lie where they may. Because this will never go away. Okay? And 4 months ago we were nowhere, and now 4 months ago, or 4 months now, look where we're at. You're here and the police are in your house and things ain't looking so good. Where are we gonna be in 4 weeks from now? Somewhere else? Have a seat so I can arrange some transportation.
Oh, was my mom not here? Well, someone had said that she was calling, then they said that she was actually here.
I don't know. I've heard. I gotta find out. Let me find out from some people.
And my knife too.
You what?
My knife too, if that's
All right.
there.
What's going on? They thought they had drugs on me.
What?
They thought they had drugs. What you guys talking about? Not a damn thing. Yeah. Well, just the usual, but apparently there's been a break in the case recently. He was telling me that I guess they found something, so they swabbed me for my swabbed my cheeks for DNA and fingerprinted me. They did the same to me. How long have you been here? The clock's wrong. Yeah, I know. Been here since 10. Yeah, same here. 10:30, I guess. Where were they like keeping you normally? Like we're in that little cell thing? Mm-hmm. Smells like piss. Dude, I almost took a piss in there. Yeah, I had to pee, yeah. So.
Okay, so this is the other suspect, the two friends that use each other for alibis on this day that they were out paintballing and, just doing great American things. Both of them have search warrants were ran on each resident, probably close to being at the same time. Both of them have been at the police station for just about the same amount of time. We don't have a video of Baldy's interrogation, but from what I was able to read, it went probably worse than the one that we watched, less fruitful. But what do you guys think about bringing the two in and see if they'll get loose with the mouth on the recorded camera and the audio? Jason?
It's risky. I really don't like this at all. I'm not a fan of this tactic.
Would you employ it if it was a Hail Mary, this thing goes in a box and we'll have to look at it again next year type of thing? I've got nothing else to go on. Would you try it?
I think there's better options. If they had enough probable cause to search their house, enough probable cause to read the Miranda, they probably have probable cause for other investigative tools to just let them walk and maybe go up on a wire or other means than this. I think there's a better way to do this.
I'll take that. Lucian, what do you think about that tactic?
I think it's interesting. If you just kind of let him sit there and bubble for a bit, I guess I'm curious as to why Jason doesn't think this is a good idea. I would be listening for exactly like the graphic says right down there. I told him nothing. Oh, really? So there is something to tell that you just didn't say. This has a pretty good potential, but I don't know from a legal standpoint if anything they say in there without an officer present is
no,
useful.
absolutely. Okay. Nobody's asking him questions. It's I think some call it a res gestae statement, or an unsolicited response, or an unsolicited statement can absolutely be used against you in a court of law.
Yeah, we call it a spontaneous utterance.
That's what you're hoping for.
Right. And I think there is some tell, although evidentiary wise, it just confirms that I'm looking at the bad guys. I got to figure out some evidence to do something with it. What'd you talk about? Well, absolutely nothing. Yep. Absolutely nothing. We talked about nothing. What'd you say? I told them nothing. Well, I didn't tell them anything either. Reassure each other that I wasn't in there ratting on you while you were in here ratting on me, type of thing. Fidgy, what do you think about that? How would you feel if you and your best friend in the world were at the police station and they brought them in to have a seat with you, both of you accused of the same crime?
Well, we're not talking about nothing because my friends are smarter than that. But I don't. I kind of wonder what's wrong with it too, Jason. Because if it's usable, then why not give it a shot? Where does the harm come from?
You're not going to get the truth in this type of setting, and that's where I'm going. If you get on their phones, surveillance. I mean, there's a better way to do this. They're not going to just come and full confess in this setting. I told him nothing doesn't mean guilty. That's where I'm. Let him get comfortable. Let him leave. Okay, we got through that. We didn't say anything, and get those conversations in a different manner. That's how I would have done this.
Well, let me ask you this, Jason. You've got investigated triple homicide. It's more than one investigator working on this. You probably got some decent case knowledgeable agents or officers out at each location as they're searching. They're probably calling in as these interviews are going on, because I'm sure they planned it this way. What if you're you're hitting a dry hole? You've got nothing that you can hang your hat on from these two search warrants. Would you not give this as a last ditch effort to see what you've got, or maybe it would result in something?
I'd have to put myself in a situation. I don't know if they have enough to actually do any further investigation. If this is if the Hail Mary was these interviews and a DNA swab, I'd like to know what more evidence they have. But I agree, this is a Hail Mary. Let's see what they say and kick them loose. But I still, after they leave, I think that's where you're going to find the truth potentially. I wouldn't do this tactic.
I can kind of see that point. And to his point earlier, when the officer was asking the guy, when he was just talking to him and they were both standing at either end of the room, and he said, or you could tell the truth. The guy just stood there and said nothing. And I kind of thought that would have been an opportunity to look him in the eye and be like, I'm telling you the truth. So that garnered more. That would tell the officer as much, I think.
Well, I mean, but Pidgey, that would give you enough evidence as I told him nothing. That's really no evidence. It doesn't further your investigation other than I might be looking in the right trash bin for the trash I'm looking for, maybe. But NC's got a question. She said, could this be considered entrapment? Maybe. Dr. Doug, could you see entrapment in this?
No, not really. I'm not really seeing it. In fact, I think if you're going to bring them both in, you need to take it a step forward and just start straight up bullshitting these guys. I'd like to see another detective, call with the main suspect, say, hey man, I need to talk to you real quick. And then just kind of step outside the door and whisper loud enough so that the guy hears it and just says, hey, Steve over there, man, he's given a full confession. I need to get a stenographer. I need to get whatever, get that set up. And then just, close the door, have him come back in with a smile on his face and not really say anything. And then, give it a couple minutes for him to stew. It's one of the oldest tricks in the books. And it's a low risk, it's high reward, and it's effective.
I could see that. That would be some high seas drama for sure. But I'm not opposed to it. Theatrics can work when people are stressed. But I will say that I don't know that he reached the level that I would like to see my suspect emotional stress. I don't know that he got there that yet. And my inkling is that law enforcement doesn't have enough to be able to trip them on their own leash, on their own strings. They almost have to take, if you don't remember, then I just got to assume you don't remember. The few things I think he was able to touch, I think he locked him into a story as deception, and that's where it stayed. Both Christian and Robert were released that same day. The case went cold for some years, I think 2009 to 2018, so almost 10 years. Christian had joined the Army, and he's in the U.S. Army, and the Robert guy went on to get married. But folks, there's a term in law enforcement or the justice system that the wheel of justice turns slowly but grinds finely. So here's a second look. This case has now gone cold. So you've got cold case investigators that are looking at this, and they've traveled to, I'm not sure where this gentleman was stationed, but they traveled to his location to conduct this interview that you're about to watch.
Obviously, we've never met. We're not the original people that you talked to back in 2006 when all this stuff occurred. We've kind of picked that up again. All right, so those people are not a part of our unit anymore. They've gone on their way elsewhere into the department. But we have picked it up just as a fresh look at things. All right, this is never going to go away. And, we could be here talking to you again, next week, next year, or somebody else takes our place. I've got retirement coming up pretty soon, and there's going to be somebody else that's going to roll in and take my position, okay? re-looking at it, and it's not going to go away until it's dealt with. Bottom line, all right. And I'll tell you, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but my theory is that whatever happened up there, I think you had a much lesser role in that. Okay, and I firmly believe that. But I can't sit here and tell you, hey, I know what happened up there. I know everything, because that would be, you'd be calling bullshit on me, all right? And you'd be right, because I don't know. I wasn't there, all right? I only know what I know based on the evidence, the massive amount of people that I'm going to talk to, the interviews and stuff like that. So, and it leads us to, you know, basically one conclusion, all right? And it's, you know, a big thing that I've learned long ago is that two things, you know, you have, when we do what we do, we have the evidence and we have the truth, okay? And what happens is, you know, if somebody lies to us, we expect that. But if somebody lies to us and tells us a story, we can compare it to the evidence and say, no, that doesn't mix. That's not right. It's not consistent. That's bullshit, okay? But when people tell us the truth, and we can take that and we put that to the evidence and like, oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. That is explainable. What do you think?
I know it's a lot for you to.
Yeah, just let me gather my thoughts.
Yeah, it's a lot for you to take in.
Well, you guys are, with respect to you guys are obviously implying that I was involved in it in some way. And that being said, and it being 6 years ago, I don't remember those dates or exactly what happened. So not to implicate myself in anything wrong, or I don't want to say word twist or anything like that, because I don't believe that you guys are here to do that to me.
Not at all.
No.
I'd feel much more comfortable with a lawyer or something like that, because like I said, 6 years is a long time for me to just start spouting off what I remember or what.
And Kristen, that's you know, and I guess that's part of the spill that I missed. Sometimes I get carried on. Again, the last thing either one of us want anybody to do, anybody, okay, whether they're guilty, not guilty, or anything, witnesses, victims, anything. The last thing I don't want anyone to do is to do that, to screw something up one way or another.
One of the things that we want to, in my end, it's going to be maybe hard for you, maybe not, but I want to show you
the impact,
yeah, of what happened to Becky. Okay, 6 years ago, that's what she looked like, and this is the house that she lived in, and her mom and her boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see it. You know, I will sit down.
Okay, sit down.
No. These are one of the bodies that were dug up from the remainder of the house.
That's actually Becky right there.
This is Becky. And this is Becky as well. It's hard. I mean, I know it is. You know, she's an 18-year-old girl who didn't really deserve
Not that. I mean,
not this. I mean, not even anything close to that. She just started life, you know. And these were her parents. Okay. And that's when we talked about how serious this is. And I think, we don't need to tell you how serious it is. What can I say? The pictures speak for themselves, She was an 18-year-old that,
Prime of her life.
yeah.
That's what we're trying to put an end to.
Yeah.
Close this out.
Which, yeah. I mean, she did have sisters, family, friends that loved her, and we talked about that loyalty thing earlier, and there's a line you got to draw. There's a line, and again, with the respect and that you asked for an attorney, we won't get into the details. We'll let you initiate this back with us. That is, the kind of like the ball was in our court, the ball is back in your court, and just what you do with that ball is up to you. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and do that, all right? We'll go back out here real quick and see if you're
The first
ride's
sergeant or
here,
something.
first sergeant, somebody's supposed to pick you up. Remember, we're gonna be here
Till tomorrow.
till tomorrow. We could delay flights. We could come back within a couple hours. It's up to you, okay? You do what you need to do, okay? And just, let's go and see this guy.
In the end, both Robert and Kristen were sentenced to life in prison for the triple homicide of Rebecca Friedley, Vicky Friedley, and John Hayward in 2018.
Okay, well, that is the end of that. It ultimately went on to conviction with other physical evidence. They didn't actually get what they wanted, I think, out of the interrogations. But I thought it was interesting the tactics that were used, especially by the investigators that come to visit the second subject. They intended to leave him with an emotional response and to drive some emotional stress upon him. We hadn't forgot. It doesn't go away. And I think they got the results that they wanted. He was literally sick to his stomach thinking of the consequences that could be coming his way. But real quick, let's go around the room. Jason, overall opinion?
I honestly wasn't when I was watching that, I wasn't. I liked it at first, and then I started not to like it. But I was shocked at the suspect's reaction when left in the room, to be quite frank. But good outcome.
Lucian?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised it worked as well as it did. The guy has had plenty of time to square this up, so maybe he's having second thoughts. In general, I'm not really a fan of the implied threat of continued surveillance over time, because I think with a lot of people, what it does is it gives them confidence that law enforcement or somebody in authority is waiting for a confession, and the simple thing they have to do is just leave it out. So at that point, you're left to fight your own internal demons. And that's a pretty big gamble, but it clearly worked here.
Well, let me flesh it. Well, I think that you had different investigators take a different look on that, and I think they've had some technology. And I noticed that the years were off there. He said 6 years. I could be wrong on my back. Maybe I don't remember, but he said we'll go with that, a 6-year difference between the crime and when this last interview was conducted. But let's go to Dr. Ahern. What do you think?
I'm going to echo what Jason and both Lucian had said, that I'm not really a big fan of many of the techniques that were used, but I think maybe just all the different investigators coming at this guy's, just a little bit over time, but they ended up with a good result. They got lucky. They really got lucky because this guy broke.
No, 100%. Fidji, final words on this one?
The last ones were much better. They were much more professional. I think they made a better impression there. That's about it.
So you like the investigators that took it over some 6 years later better than the first ones? Okay.
Yeah, the first one came kind of off like a car salesman to me. I would kind of think he was a putz, but the other ones, they were much more straight, much more professional. That made them much better. It makes a much stronger impression.
Good points. Good points. Folks, this came from the YouTube channel Red Thread Interrogations. They do some pretty good stuff. If you're into this kind of thing, you like to watch these, there's plenty to select there. Give them a subscribe and a follow on YouTube. They help us put this content together. I appreciate them. I also want to go to another friend of the show. This is the Range Minded Podcast.
Have you ever wondered to yourself, man, what time does the store close? Or where's the best cheeseburger near me? Well, I'm not going to answer those questions. That's what your damn phone is for. Use that. Instead, if you have stuff related, to the 2A world, I'm your man. My name's Steve. I run the Range Minded Podcast. On the podcast, we talk about all things Second Amendment, whether it be new guns or gear. Maybe we talk about some training. We'll dig into Washington and the shenanigans they get up to. Sometimes we talk about the Supreme Court and the crap that they're doing. It's always a good time, a little smorgasbord of the 2A, if you don't mind me using that narrative. Either way, you can find us whether on YouTube or Rumble, Range Minded Podcast. I'm also on all sorts of streaming services, wherever you listen to your podcast, Range Minded Podcast. You can jump on the website, rangemindedpodcast.com. Maybe stop by, buy a patch and some other things. There you can link to the social medias and all that other stuff. Hope to see you there. It's always a good time. Anyways, you guys have fun, stay safe, and always stay range-minded. See you guys soon.
Okay, we're going to jump into this next one. We're going to see completely different techniques, different crime, and a different level of sophistication of our suspects. But it's super interesting. It's got everything that you want in interrogation. You're going to get your emotional response. You're going to get your who did it, and you're even going to get, I want an attorney, I want a lawyer, all wrapped up into one. Let's go to it. This is another channel I recommend, The Villains. Subscribe.
Go ahead in there. Just give us a couple minutes so we can hit the little boy and little girl's room. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Make yourself comfortable, pal.
You want anything? You want water?
I would like to know where my girlfriend is.
I'll find out for you. Okay?
And my personal belongings. Can I have that returned to me, please?
Sure, we'll work on as soon as I meet up with everybody else.
Excuse me. Hello? Come on, I want to talk to somebody already. Raquel! I love you! You alright? Babe!
I get it.
I'm sorry.
No, don't.
I'm more scared for her. Like, that's my girlfriend. Imagine if your girlfriend was sitting there. Come on.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
Right.
She's perfectly fine.
Okay.
She was treated with the utmost respect, as correct me
as
if
you
I'm
want
wrong.
your girlfriend to be. That's all I'm saying.
I treat people the same way. I will keep the communication line open. Listen, Joe, I'm not. I hear
knocking, Joe. Sit down. We're coming. I was trying to take care of. I'm sorry. I was trying to take care of.
Make sure she was
Making
okay,
sure
too.
she had everything that she needed.
We want to talk to you about some information that we received and how your name came up.
Okay.
Okay. I'm willing to share with you everything that we have. All right?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that, you know, we talked about, you know, it's important.
I know I ain't do nothing wrong, so.
Okay, so fair enough. Do you have any idea why we're here? Because I want to tell you that the reason that you're here is because we want to talk to you about Trupal Patel.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but before we start talking to you about him, I don't know if you're aware that he was found deceased in Shark River Hills Park.
I was not aware that.
You had no idea.
I knew that there was a
Well,
body.
before you say anything, before we talk to you about
Okay.
that and how your name came up in it, I want to read you your Miranda rights, okay?
Okay.
Doubt this, and you have any more questions, but we can stop and talk to you about
I really am not trying to be bothered. Can I have my phone present just in case I need to call an attorney?
Well, do you want to speak to
No,
an
I
attorney?
don't need to. I don't need to, but I'm just saying because I've been in this situation before. Like I've been in a room like this, been interrogated.
Okay.
And I would just, my parents have always told me from step one to, no matter what, innocent, guilty, doesn't matter. Just you always want to be careful. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not really. But
No, that's.
You get what I'm saying?
It's your rights, Joe.
All right.
All right. Let me see if I... Raquel? How you doing?
Raquel.
Raquel, my name's Pam. By the way.
Nice meeting
Oh, good to meet you.
Pam, I'm Mike.
Raquel.
I know Pam. How are you, Raquel?
Been a long day.
Yeah.
Raquel, we wanted to talk to you today about some things that you may or may not know anything about. So, if you'll give us the opportunity, we'd like to do that. Before we do that, we'd have to read you your Miranda rights, okay?
I'm under arrest right now?
You're
You're
not under
arrest, Pam, Raquel. You're not under arrest, but what we like to do is we like to give everyone the opportunity to talk to us and kind of, you know, from their perspective on things.
So do you agree to sit down and speak with us about the questions we might have, about what the knowledge you have of what's going on?
I would like my attorney here.
Okay, well, if you want an attorney, then we have to stop, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
I would like my attorney here before I'm questioned.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
All
let's
right,
pause
so-
right here. Before we get back to Joe. Jason, an initial assessment?
The guy is a dickhead. Did not like him at all. He's been through this before. Asking for a phone, but not needing an attorney yet. He's kind of walking a gray line there. That's a little interesting. The girl clearly said, "I want an attorney." That's my first assessment.
100%. I think the investigators did a good job there. She invoked her right to attorney being present during questioning, and she was given that. Did you like the way that the female investigator here paused when he said, "My parents always told me, don't trust the police," or whatever it was that they said? She stopped him. She clarified, "Do you want an attorney?"
Yeah, yes, I thought they did a good job, and again, he's walking a gray line here. And she tried to clarify that, and I don't think they really got it clarified compared to the female suspect who said, "I want an attorney. This is done."
No, she was super clear. Super clear. She was. Lucian, first sight and assessment there.
I immediately on seeing this guy, I wondered if he had priors. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that he has some maybe DV, some abuse, some violent interactions in the past. He doesn't handle his anxiety well. But I also think he's probably trying to figure out if he's smart enough to get ahead of them. That's why he said, "Well, I could have a lawyer, but I don't really need one right now." So that was he's trying to play them, and I think they're going to eat that up. Young lady did exactly what she's supposed to do. I hate it because I'm going to guess that these folks are guilty just by the nature of our context here. But she did exactly what she was supposed to do.
Well, sir, They have the presumption of innocence. It's a constitutional right. And I assure you that the interrogation with Joe Lanou, we adhere to that. These are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
And fortunately, I am not law enforcement, so
just letting you know, I've given them the complete presumption of innocence on this. Dr. Doug, did you put something through your computer screen or throw your phone when she tried to clarify, do you want an attorney? He said, no, I'm good. Let me tell you everything about it.
Well, that's just another potential client. Now I'm not entirely upset, and I just, what's the retainer going to be? Because you're digging yourself into a hole. I think that he showed his vulnerability by talking about his girlfriend. Hey, well, I want to see her, and then I love you, baby, and all this other stuff. So I think he senses there's a vulnerability there that she could flip on him. But you know what? Other than that, they need to play up, that he thinks he's a lot smarter than he really is.
I'll take that. I guess lawyers have to eat too, so keep talking, kid. Fidgy, what do you think?
Well, she's pretty smart. She knew what to do, and he's got a bad combination of cockiness and ignorance. No, that's not going to work well for them.
Well, I think that's a little harsh for an initial assessment, don't you think?
No, I think that's truthful.
Let's get on to it, and let's see what this cat turns into really be.
You are not aware that Trupal Patel has passed away.
I am aware that he has passed away.
Okay, you are.
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you find out that he passed away?
My friend Eric.
Eric.
I'd rather not say his last name.
Okay, so you have a friend,
my friend Eric, who
mutual friend of you and Trupal, or
I'm actually not a friend of. I actually don't even know his last name.
Okay.
His name's Troop.
Oh, you know him
That's
as
how
Troop.
I know
Okay.
him by. That's it though, just Troop.
Okay, and we're gonna get into it, but I mean that's
okay. So you know, and then you had found out from a friend of yours, Eric. And what did you find out? How did you find out?
He just said that my boy Troop went missing.
Okay.
And then that was like, he told me that like a week ago.
Mhm.
I feel like around there, maybe even longer.
Okay.
And then.
And would he tell you this because you happen to know Troop?
Well, my friend Eric gets drugs from him.
Okay.
So that's how I knew. Like,
and that's
how
not
he
what
told
we're
me.
here for. So
no, I mean,
I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable.
Yeah. So, you are you familiar? Have you ever met Troop before?
No.
Never in your life. You never met him or never introduced to him. Never bought drugs from him. Never hung out with him.
I've never bought drugs from him, but I've I guess down the chain.
You mean directly from him, is what?
Not directly from him, no.
Okay, and so how do you know of Troop then?
Eric.
Okay, so Eric would tell you.
Because Eric hung out with him a lot.
So Eric calls you and says, "My friend Troop is missing."
No, he just. Oh yeah, all right. So no, he didn't even call me like that. We were just hanging out, and he was just off one day. He was just like
said,
real.
hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I was like, "What's up?" He was like, "Oh, my friend's missing." I was like, "Who?" And he was like, "The plug." And I mean, the plug means the drug dealer, like the guy. So I was like, "Oh shit!" And that's basically how I found out.
Okay. And then, how did you know that he had passed away?
I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, maybe, that someone was like, they found a body in Shark River Park, and then I forget who it was.
Who told you that? Do you know?
Eric. Eric was at his house. I was at my friend's house. Eric FaceTimed me. He was like, "You're not gonna believe it." I was like, "What?" He was like, "They found his body." I was like, "Whose body?" He was like, "The plugs." I was like, "Where?" He was like in Shark River. And I was like, "Oh shit."
Okay. And did he know anything more about the circumstances surrounding that?
I mean, as far as he made it seem like it was like he had just seen him.
So Eric made it sound to you. Do you remember?
Well, because he said to me, he was like I was just with him. Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, it's insane. But I mean, like it's kind of like easy to tell when he's off. And I mean, he was off, but I don't know.
Okay. And did you have any more conversations with Eric about what might have happened to Troop?
He thinks Troop either snitched on somebody and got plugged, or I guess there's a bunch of other possibilities.
Like,
I mean, I
if
don't
you
know
had
anything
if you
about
had to
him.
venture a guess or opinion.
I mean, if
what-
I had to honestly think, if, because I don't recall exactly what he got arrested for when he did get arrested for like 2 years ago, but he got off like scot-free. So I would, if someone was higher than him, that would I mean, I don't know. That just looks sketchy. You feel me? Like just someone looking from like the outside,
Right.
like that in itself looks sketchy.
Right. I could understand that.
Okay.
We are asking these questions because we've been, a lot of detectives have been working on this case for a long time now. And all we're trying to do, Joe, is make sure our evidence matches what you're in here telling us.
Okay.
And that's important. And listen, I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is right now, the first few.
Okay, real quick, because we're going to have more video than we have time. But I say that this investigator here is doing a pretty good job. He's letting know that how many people and how much effort and how hard we've all been working on this one case. And we've got all this evidence. And now we want to hear your story to see if that meets up with our evidence. He's putting this guy on notice that now he's going to have to be guarded and try to guess what the police know so that his story matches up. Jason, do you see it the same way?
Yep. Let him tell his story, and here comes the evidence. That 100% yes.
I think it's interesting. A lot of times they let him tell the story, and then they bring out the evidence. He's telling them in advance, like, "Hey, we know a bunch of stuff." I used to use a term when doing proffering, especially a federal proffer deal. And it'd be like, there's a bunch of stuff I know, there's a bunch of stuff I don't know. The problem is, you don't know what I know, you don't know what I don't know. And those of you don't know what a proffer deal is on the federal level, for sure, that if you lie about anything and I can prove that you lied, I get to keep everything you gave me, and you don't get the deal. So it's to their advantage not to lie. And that's how I started the initial interview on a proper subject, is letting them know that there's a lot I know, but there's a lot I don't know. You just don't know what it is I know. But when you tell me, I'll know if you're lying. I can catch you on a lie, is what I'm trying to say. You just don't know what piece I can catch you on. Lucian, what do you think about that tactic of him telling him, kind of tilting his hand in front, that, like, basically what I said? I know a lot of stuff. I just don't know everything.
Yeah, it's a good approach to get people to kind of sit back and be defensive. They're always going to be trying to figure out what they can and can't say, and whether you're going to call BS. If you have someone who's really savvy on the other end of that, though, and it's not necessarily a legal situation, the general behavior is to try and play you back, because they're going to see that you've got info, and they might be looking for something that they can use. In this situation, and given this kid's behavior, he just keeps sniffing the bait. His head is in that noose already.
Yeah, he's lacking a level of sophistication, I think, against the two investigators sitting across from him. Fidji, an opinion on that?
No, everyone's pretty much said what I was thinking. The investigators are, well, they're much more professional. So he's trying to find a comfort level and he's not finding it. The guy is the investigator guy. He's kind of, no, be comfortable, but you can tell he's pretty serious.
Yeah. Without doubt. Let's get back to the video before we run out of time.
Minutes of our discussion, the evidence hasn't matched up much at all. Truthfulness in here goes a long way in trying to, get to the bottom of these.
I understand.
things.
So if you guys want me to be honest, right?
Yes.
You would love me to be truthful. So why don't you guys tell me?
Okay.
We
Well,
will.
let me ask you this. How have you ever seen Troop's car, the car that he drives?
Yes.
Okay, what does he drive?
I believe a Jag.
Okay. What kind of Jag? Like anything specific about it? A color, a year?
Anything that might pop into your head about it.
Just said it was a Jaguar.
What's that?
Just that it was a Jaguar.
Do you know what color it was?
No.
Okay, well, when did you last see the Jaguar?
When I was with Eric.
And when was that? I mean, I don't know the last time you saw Eric, so.
A week, 2 weeks?
3.5 weeks ago, approximately.
3.5 weeks
Yeah.
ago. Where did you see Troop and the Jaguar?
Outside of Eric's house.
And where's that at? I don't know where.
Tinton Falls.
Okay. So you were by yourself, or were you with Eric?
I was with Eric.
Tell me the circumstances
Okay,
if
so,
you can.
all right, so I'm going to come out.
Mhm.
Last time I saw Troop
Mm-hmm.
was at Eric's house.
Okay.
Eric was picking up from him. I left Eric's house.
Okay.
Because
that is the last time I saw Troop. Troop went missing 2 days later. That's when he told me. All right?
Mhm.
That's
all
when
I'm
Eric
saying.
told you.
That's when Eric told me he's missing.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. About where the last time you saw him. So have you thought at all about what that means? What you're telling me what that means?
I can see that
Have
you
I-
thought about it.
What do you mean?
Well, like you just said, and I'm just going to replay
Oh no,
what you just said.
I know Eric. Eric's not one that hurts him. I'm not putting it on anyone, but I'm just saying like that was the last time that I had seen Troop.
Was 2 days before he went missing, and it was at Eric's house.
Was at Eric's house.
Okay. Now, has Troop ever come to your house? To
Troop has never come to my house.
never.
No.
Never come to the area of your home?
Is there proof saying that he has?
Well, this is what I'm trying to gauge,
I
Joe.
know, this is what
Pam and I are trying to gauge.
I
here.
understand.
So, we ask you these
With
questions.
your knowledge, has he ever come to your house?
Troople has never come to my house.
Okay. You've never purchased from him coming and dropping off at your house?
I have,
or
like I
anything?
said, I've purchased from him kind of down the chain, but he's
Sure.
never come to my house.
Let me ask you this question in a slightly different way.
Mhm.
Maybe Troop hasn't come to your house. Has his vehicle come to your house?
Has his vehicle come to my house?
Right.
No.
Coming in here, you
See, I
don't...
wish that like the youth, or not youth, but just the public and the
Mhm.
private side of things wasn't so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
But we're
the
being
police
nice to you.
officers-
We're being
Oh,
polite. and
We've
everything.
nothing but been respectful.
But like
You
this
said that.
is where I'm coming from, okay?
Mhm.
Now you guys are telling me, or not telling me, but you guys are asking me, has this car ever been in front of my house? Which means someone or something, somehow, you believe this car was in front of my house.
Maybe.
I understand
Not
that.
all of our questions are, the answers
Oh,
are
no,
yes.
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, for that particular question, let's just say if you were to say, we know the car was on 3rd Ave in Long Branch, okay? You could just be saying that to me, could you not?
Unless we had evidence to back it up.
Exactly, but would you be able to show me that evidence if I were to ask, can I see the evidence?
Well,
Can I
would,
see?
I
I'm
would
gonna
show
share- I'm
you at
gonna
the
show you
certain
what we
times.
have.
I would definitely share you
Can I
with that
please
evidence.
see
Let me
what
ask you this.
have?
Did you ever, were you ever in his car? Have you ever gotten in his car?
Can I just please, I would like to answer questions once I can
Well,
see.
Joe, that defeats the purpose of the questions, and I'll
Okay.
just explain that to you.
Okay.
If we come in here and bring the 8 boxes, the 8 mailboxes that we have, mailboxes being the big brown boxes, I didn't want to clarify that, in here with the pictures, the surveillance, the interviews, the statements that this investigation has entailed, it takes the credit, it takes Joe from telling us facts that he wants to get his side, his facts out. All right? Believe me, Pam and I are not opposed to showing you the evidence, but it is not going to be show you the evidence so you can kind of then curtail your answers. I'm being honest with you.
The truth is just the truth, right?
Okay.
Right, I'm being honest with you, Joe,
So
and
let
I
me-
want your honesty with us.
Yeah.
All right. Ask good questions?
So, have you ever been in Troop's car, the Jag?
Yes.
Okay. When were you in the car?
Troop will pick me up once.
When was that?
This was about 2 months ago.
2 months. And where'd you guys go?
He just picked me up real quick, gave me some stuff. That was it.
Fair enough. And I want you to know I don't care about that.
All right, I'm
All right?
gonna
That's
give
not
you
what
quick
this is about.
answers because I do want to go home tonight.
All
I
right.
plan on going home tonight.
When was the last time that you were in his car? About.
While he tries to remember that difficult answer, I'm going to go back to I like the tactic the investigator is using. He's very detailed on how much volumes of evidence they have, how much we know. He was even very descriptive as to size of box of, and he mentions the types of evidence, tapes, audio tapes, cameras, and things like that, data that they have. Do you notice that, Jason?
Yeah, I love the way they're doing this. They actually kind of made this dude think that because he's in a dope, that they've been surveilling this guy for years, and now that he's dead, we have way more than we know. And most dopers are paranoid to begin with, so they're playing him like a fiddle. They're doing a great job.
And I think they're turning up the heat at an appropriate rate to drive that internal emotional response, that waterfall I talk about behind his eyes. And I think letting him know how much that we don't have a little bit. I got a ton of stuff, and I got a team of people working on it, all working on it right now as we speak. We know so much, and I've got so much that I would be able to present you. I'd be happy to show it to you after you tell me your story, but I won't let you show it to you and then you tell me the story. I think they're turning up the heat, and I did the editing on this. I'll tell you, we're absolutely going to see the results of this, and I think they're doing a fine job at it. Lucian?
No, I don't really have anything to add. I think they're doing a great job. One of the things that I do really enjoy here is that he is clearly trying to convey to them that he is, got insider information, that he's smart, that he's paying attention to everything. And they're going, yeah, man, you really are smart. Wow. They're not being quite that obvious, but they're letting him feel that. And, it's just, you're going to hear the snap when it comes.
Yes, sir, you will. Fidji.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. They're doing good work.
All right, well, let's see the results of that work.
Okay, when was the last time you saw his car? Was it that time at Eric's, or was it another time?
More
recent? You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Can I go back and ask when that car, if that car, do you recall now, was ever by your house?
I don't remember.
Okay.
All right. Have you ever been in possession of that car without Troop having that car?
I have not. I've never. I've never been in the car without Troop.
Okay. But have you ever been in control of that car without him?
Has
he ever given you the car?
In control.
Just meaning having the keys and taking the car. And
I have not driven.
Have you
that
ever
vehicle.
taken off without his car?
I have not driven that vehicle. No.
Has anybody else that you know driven that vehicle?
No.
Okay.
No one.
Not driven it.
What does that mean?
I don't. I mean, Eric's been in it probably, but that's it.
None of your other friends have been in that car? You know it's out there. We have the car, right?
Mm-mm.
So there's things in that car that would point us to people that you may know have been in the car.
We're trying.
I knew
to
it was
give
a
you the
stolen car.
opportunity. I mean, we're trying to give you.
I thought it was a stolen car.
All right, that's fair.
I didn't go in it. I didn't touch it. All right. I did not touch it.
All right.
Didn't touch the car.
All right, that's
Didn't
fair.
touch the
I don't
car.
know. Just
I
tell
don't-
me when that was. Like you saw the car, so you didn't
All
touch
right.
it.
So I knew it was parked on. I told Tyler that it was a friend's car.
Who's Tyler?
You know who Tyler is. Come on,
But it's
guys.
up to you to tell the
You
truth.
guys know who Tyler
This is
All right,
us keeping
okay,
I'm not
all right,
denying
all right,
that
look,
we don't
look,
know
look,
who
I get
Tyler
it,
is.
I get it. I get it.
But he was
I get
trying
it,
to
I get it. I
Give
get
you
it.
the opportunity to be truthful.
All right.
Okay.
I'm being truthful.
We just have
I
to
know.
gauge it.
I know about the car. That's it. That's it.
All right,
Please
so
tell us.
start.
The car was unlocked.
Where?
It was on. It was in Asbury on Langford.
Okay.
It was in Asbury on Langford. I told Tyler that the car was unlocked and that he could because my O's shop, that big auto body shop right there. I'm there right next to it.
Got it.
Like I'm there all the time.
Asbury
and that's when I
Langford?
saw the car. I walked past it. I went like this, lifted the door handle, saw it was unlocked, and I told Tyler, because I know Tyler steals shit all the time.
Okay.
So I told him to go through it.
So you told him to go through it, but did you tell him to take it anywhere?
No, he didn't drive that car anywhere.
He didn't drive anywhere?
He didn't drive that car anywhere.
Okay. Did he take anything out of it?
Probably.
Like what?
I have no clue.
He wouldn't have told you. I mean, say, this is what I don't get. I mean, you're telling him, saying, hey, listen. And listen, I'm not judging you for it. Hey, there's something in that car that might look good. It's an open Jag.
Yeah.
Go take a look at it. Now, if he comes across an item of value, I'm sure, guy like
Because
you.
he said he was looking for a car to drive because he doesn't have a car right now.
Fair. Got it.
All right.
Got it. All right.
Next question. I'm sorry.
No, I
I'm
like
not
your-
getting
I
a
like
good
your-
vibe
Yeah.
from this right now.
You're not getting a good vibe
I
from
just
us?
feel like something's off.
No.
Something's very, very off.
Joe, this is what's off.
Because
We
Troop
just want the
is,
truth.
Troop is now dead. That's
I know,
what's
and I'm
off.
trying
Would
to
you
be
not
honest
agree?
with no, I'm trying to
Yeah.
be honest with you guys,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to help you, but it just
Yeah.
really like I don't know. I've been in a lot of situations before where it's all where everyone. I'm not saying you guys, but they just is it this? Is it this? They try and mind fuck you, and I'm sorry.
We're not trying to
I'm
mind
really
fuck
not
you,
trying.
Joe. I understand some of these questions are directed, and they're gonna be. And then we are gonna show you exactly routes of vehicles and routes of people and electronic equipment and tracking reports and all things like that. I promise we will lay it all.
Like you think I'm very guilty.
Okay.
I didn't
Listen,
men-
you know what?
I
I'm
didn't
going to
mention
share
you,
something.
That's what that just
I'm
felt
going to
like.
share
Joe,
with
I
you
didn't mention
something
that. I'm
about
sorry
that
if
case.
that felt
Please,
like
look,
that.
I'm asking.
I'm
Shed
going to
some light
share
on me.
something with you you may not know. I'm going to share with you the way that Troop died. Okay. Troop died because he was shot.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to ask you point blank. Do you have a gun?
I do not own a gun.
Does anybody in your family own a gun?
My dad.
What kind of gun does he own?
He owns a 9mm Taurus and a 357 Magnum.
Okay. You don't use those guns, I presume?
No.
Never used them?
Never used the guns.
Okay. Any other guns that he might have used that are in your house or you have access to?
No.
Does
Okay.
your dad shoot those guns regularly?
No.
I mean, do you remember the last time your dad
I
would
was
shot
like
him?
in 5th grade.
The last time he shot him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where does your dad keep them? Does he keep them locked up and
Yeah, he has
secured?
them locked up.
Okay. Do you have a key to
I
get
do not.
Okay.
Have you ever shot him?
No.
Okay.
And that's fine because I know. And
Does your
again,
dad- is
hold
your
on,
dad
ready?
make
'Cause,
sure-
hold
go
on,
ahead.
I'm so sorry. I
No.
know you're getting this info from Tyler, and I don't care what this man says. He was on my good. Hold on, no, I'm sorry. Let me
Go ahead,
please.
I'm sorry.
This man came to my house multiple times. He's my friend.
Who?
I know you guys are talking
Tyler.
about Tyler. He's the one that gave you the information about my parents' guns. I'm not stupid. Let's just be real here. Months ago, I let him hold a sniper rifle. A sniper rifle.
I guess it's your dad's.
Yeah, I
Or is
let
it
him
yours?
hold it, and like, what? I don't get what the issue is.
There's no issue.
There's no issue.
I know, but why
we
is
have
why
to
is my
clarify
father's
it.
stuff
So we're
being brought up
asking.
on this?
Joe,
We're
but it's
just
our
asking
duty
you.
to ask,
We
and we
gotta
would
ask
tell
you.
you.
Come on, that's just not cool though. Like, why is my father being brought up?
Your father's not being brought into this.
Not at all.
But Joe,
Wouldn't it
we
be
have
right
to-
of us
it's
to
our
ask those
job
questions?
to ask those questions.
Understand? No, I
And
don't.
let you
No, I
tell
don't
us
have a
otherwise.
firearm. No, I haven't used a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I've seen him shoot it, 5th grade.
Okay.
5th grade. So a long time
All
ago.
Yes, very.
So, you said that you were never with Troop's car. You saw it on the street, and that's what happened, right? And that's what you called
Okay.
Tyler over. Am I right on that?
Okay.
And I just want to make sure, right? That's what you said. You were on the street.
Yes, no, or no comment.
At
Just
the
so we
auto
clear.
body place, and you pulled on the thing. You didn't know it was Troop's car, correct? I just want to make sure I'm clarifying.
Can I see?
Yeah, you can absolutely see.
Is be able to
There's your car. There's the job.
explain what this is all about without
Okay, hon.
without explanations. There could be a simple explanation
Yeah.
for this, Joe. Well,
We know that this isn't,
All right.
okay, you
All I'm gonna
understand
say,
what I'm
all I'm gonna tell you guys is this right now.
Okay.
Okay, you guys have a lot in this picture, right? That's all I'm gonna say. You know who's in that car. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have my fingerprints on that car, on the inside of that car?
Listen, that, we're talking about, you just didn't tell us the truth
Okay,
about
all
what was
right,
going
all
on
right,
with
okay,
that.
I'm
what
trying
happens
to,
in your
and I'm
job.
trying
So,
to.
let's not turn this back around on us. Let's turn this back around on the fact that you weren't being honest. So let's clear that up.
So, I was supposed to meet up with Struple, okay? I was gonna buy some weed off him.
And what day was this?
This was Sunday.
Sunday
this
before
week?
this date, because this is on the 9th.
Yeah, this is Sunday.
So that would be on the 5th.
Oh, wait, no, so, wait, this is,
this is the 9th.
I'm trying to think. It was either like a Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
But
And
this-
he said
but a
he
couple
was
weeks
going
ago.
to his friend's house in Asbury. He was supposed to come to my house, right? And he was supposed to come to my house. I had told him, you know, can you wait a little bit? I won't be home. I won't be home yet. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to my friends in Asbury. So he came to my house. He was there for like 5 minutes, and then I still wasn't home yet. So he went to his friends in Asbury. I don't know where, who, why, what in Asbury. I'm sorry, this is just very...
I understand it, Joe. Take your time.
Take your
a deep
time.
breath.
We know it's important.
This is
I just know I'm not innocent. I know I'm not guilty. I'm just not trying to do this. There's got to be a bigger story, because the way this was all left, the way it looks, is so fucked.
That's why it's so important
That's why it's
for
up
you.
to you to explain.
As a mom, my heart is going out to you right now, because I know you're in a situation where you've kind of dug yourself
But I
a hole
don't know
because-
anything. I just know how the car got there. I
Okay.
just know how. That's all.
Okay, that's fine. Then let's start with that, okay, hon?
Please, that's all I know. I'm
You
so
know?
scared. This is a murder. I want to
You
leave
could
for
be
the
my kid
Marines.
right
I want
now.
to, but I want to leave for the Marines, ma'am. I'm not a bad kid. I got
You're not a
arrested for
bad kid.
weed. All right, I just know how the car got there.
I know.
Please.
So then let's start with how did the car get there? So you talk to him on the 9th. You say to him that, you know, you want to buy from him. He was going to come to your house, but he was at a friend's and you weren't at your house yet.
Yes.
So you
And I
said,
told Tyler to move the car, and that's where he moved the
Well,
car.
let me
That's
just-
all
I
I'm
wanna-
saying. I'm done
listen.
talking. I'm done talking.
you don't want to talk to us anymore,
That's
or
all
you
I'm
want to
saying.
talk about
That's
this?
where I moved the car. I'm trying to help you guys. Please. I'm just
But
being
I
very
just want to
frustrated.
clarify what you're saying. Are you saying that you don't want to talk about this particular thing anymore?
I'm telling you where I moved. I had the car moved. I didn't move it. I told Tyler, get in the car, move it here. I want to go through it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I
but
knew
you
it was
just-
Struppel's car, and I knew he was on that street, and I
But
knew he left his
listen,
keys in his car.
Sweetie, I listen. I want to be
I don't
respectful.
want to go to
of you.
jail. Like I didn't do anything wrong. Like I moved the car. Yeah, okay. I guess you can kind of say that I helped take the car away.
Joe, we're only looking to try to figure out what happened to Troop.
I know, and I'm trying to help
And
you
we're
guys.
trying to put a
But
puzzle
you guys
together.
are really trying to make me feel guilty. I'm
No.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to
Joe,
make you
we're
guys
not
feel
trying
that
to
way.
make you feel guilty. We're
We just
trying
want-
to work
we wanna-
together.
Yes,
we
I
want to
moved
be
the
able
car.
to paint the
I moved
entire
the car.
picture,
I knew
okay?
he told me he was parked on 4th.
Mhm.
I knew he left his keys in his car, and I thought that there would be drugs in the car.
Okay.
I know he
Okay.
drives with a shit ton of drugs in the car all the time.
Fair.
It was there, and there was nothing in the car.
Mhm.
So I left the car. I told
Okay.
Tyler just leave. I didn't even go back. I told Tyler to leave the car.
Okay. All right.
We're trying to get the truth. And again, like I said earlier, the truth sets us free in here.
All right, where do we think our stress level is now for our young future Marine? Jason, you want to go first?
He's fucked.
Yeah, emotionally, he's losing it. Lucian, is it living up to your expectations?
Oh man, this guy is just classic. But what I'm seeing here is some a trauma response. The brakes and the starting to give ground on one step at a time. Something has happened to him before, and he sees that there's a brick wall he's going to hit coming up here soon. But you can see the concession that he makes with, okay, yes, he went from I've never seen the car to I touched it and pointed it out to somebody to, yeah, I was in it. So he's trying to pad all of this, but something else happened to this kid. I think it's interesting. There's another force here we haven't seen yet.
Very well may be, but I think we see with most successful interrogations that the suspect's a lot like a dog. It's going to walk in a circle in the spot he's going to lay down in before he actually lays down in it. And I think that he's doing it. But we've seen him go to, I barely knew the victim, to, well, yeah, I bought weed from him. He's never been to my house. Okay, yeah, well, he came to my house this one time. I didn't know anything about his car. Well, I knew it was parked over here. And he even pulled his shirt up to say, well, I did that so you wouldn't have any of my fingerprints. And these investigators have been stalwart all the way through, acknowledging the answer. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, tell us more about that. I think they've been very good at that, at driving it, but they've got his internal temperature, I think, almost at the boiling point about here. Fidji, what are you seeing?
Every time the female detective, every time she pulled the mom card, and every time she kind of goes into that mom act, it triggers him. He gets very emotional. So
I think she's playing that card very well, though. I think it's working.
I do too. Yeah, yeah, because it's triggering him every time she does it. So that's all I had to.
All right, let's get back to it. I think this, in my mind, this was about the turning point when they confronted him with the car and the pictures, and he had to go back and completely reverse his whole story. I think that drove him up internally to be exactly where investigators want him to be.
But it doesn't set anyone free.
But it does, because hear me out. Let me explain.
Right.
If your concern is you don't want to be grouped into this murder, but at the same time, all the information that you've been giving us so far, in our defense, has been wrong, and then only after you're shown pictures or data, then it changes. So what Pam and I would like, Joe, is to work together.
Question. I'm so sorry.
Can I just finish the sentence? Is we just want to work together with you at this to get all the facts so we can put you out of the equation. But without you coming and being forthcoming with this, Joe, I can't do it. You're hurting right now. I can tell that.
I think what hurts me the most is that I've already talked too much. And I think what hurts me the most right now is that I am sitting in this room with you guys, okay? You've all been very polite to me, or at least I've thought this whole time, which you have been.
I think so.
And Pam, I'd just like to say it. You're a very respectful woman, but the way you're coming at me is really making me more anxious about this scenario.
Okay. Well, I apologize
and
for that.
I'm
I
not
don't
trying
mean
to come at you
make
personally.
anxious.
All right. And I know that you want to figure this out. Okay.
I do.
I get it.
And I want to figure it out without having to kind of confront you with information.
Yeah, we don't like this. We don't like going to
Let me
battle.
tell you this right now. Okay. All right. I would like for this to be the last talk. Please. If let's just say right now, okay, if I say that I want to stop talking, you guys put me in cuffs? You guys are going to put me in cuffs?
Well, we have to, this is what would happen.
Like, come on.
If Joe says, I want to stop talking, well within your right, we read your Miranda, you understand that?
I understand.
So this is what would happen. So we have prosecutors outside. We have interviews going on right now with people that are affiliated with you. In the next 3 rooms, the people,
Good move.
everyone that you can think that's might be involved is either here or already been here. So we would go back in there, take those boxes of evidence, take the boxes of surveillance, take the boxes of phone data, GPS data, what we were looking for.
All right.
I was just looking for you.
You just gotta leave this. This has to end. This has to go. This has to end. I want my girlfriend out of here.
So what? How's that going to happen?
Just want her out. I know she had nothing to do with this. I want her out.
Well, then, I mean, you just have to be the one to tell us that.
Yeah.
You tell us
Tell us
that.
what happened.
You tell us that, Joe.
Well, no, I'm just she whatever has anything to do with this. The car, I stole the car. Like she's got nothing to do with that.
But
we're still
working
not
on a
investigating
murder
the
here,
stolen
Joe.
car.
Oh, all right.
We're working on a murder.
God damn. Well, I mean, I didn't murder anybody. So what else you guys need me to say? Because all right, I had the car.
Did you ever move the car? Did you ever move the car once it was at your house?
No, didn't move the car once it was at my. Yes, I did commit a criminal act. I did go.
Oops. They got him moving the car. Jason, what part of that tactic did you like? You chimed in there.
We have other interviews going on. We have all this stuff going on, and they may or may not, but they set a stage there that really caused a lot of anxiety in him, and you could see it in his body. That there's a lot going on behind the scenes here. That was a good move.
No,
that
I
one
agree.
comment he said.
And I agree. And every time he talks about the evidence and the work they've done, he keeps talking about how much it is. It's a ton. It's voluminous. They've got a lot of it. I know a lot of stuff. We're talking to people right now. I got prosecutors outside. They really turned up the heat on this guy, and he doesn't. I'd like to play poker with him, but of course, we probably won't have that chance. But Lucian, did you like that boil up that we saw when he talked about the prosecutors and everyone's outside?
That was brilliant. That was really, really good. What I thought was really interesting is that one of the things that he popped about was mentioning the girlfriend. Nobody else brought her up. We have people. We're talking to a lot of people. Well, I want my girlfriend out of here. She had nothing to do with this. Well, are you sure about that? basically he's given the clue that every time he says the first time he introduces something in a negative, at this point, almost every single thing has turned out to be exactly the opposite.
Yeah, he hasn't been truthful up to this point. Maybe that'll change. But yeah, he's keyed on the girlfriend. He's been keen on the girlfriend all along. I don't know that it could be that young love in the knight in shining armor. I'm going to protect my girlfriend at all cost, or if he's worried about what the girl would say. But we know something we know that he doesn't is his girlfriend is actually left. She said, I want an attorney. And they said, thank you, ma'am. We'll have a nice day. Be in touch if you decide you want to talk later. But they haven't told him that. He still thinks that she's there. Fidji?
I think he's very emotional. I think the girlfriend is more of a like a security blanket, maybe a rope out. And yeah, they're doing a really good job.
Great. I mean, if you're doing an interrogation, and you guys can weigh in real fast on this just around the table, don't you want to drive them up to an emotional state to get them kind of tripped up on their own words and tripped up on their false story if you believe they're telling a false story? Jason? Lucian, would you want to try to drive some sort of emotional response from someone you're interrogating in this type of setting?
Well, again, normally I wouldn't want someone to get to this point because they're starting to look for other ways to get out of the conversation. But yeah, he's behaving exactly as he's supposed to. They're pouring it on at the right pace. He's popping wherever they're starting to press, and I think it's pretty interesting that between these two interrogators, they've got a really good rhythm going. It's pretty impressive. They're reading him very, very well, and he may just be your classic training mark. I don't know, but they have his number.
Without a doubt. And you guys talked about the mom card. I think the male investigator is also playing the dad card. I think he's doing a decent job on that, staying firm, but yet soft enough. But Jason?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think the girlfriend's a key witness, and he's really concerned about her getting out of there. That'd be my take right now, that he does not want the girlfriend talking. And the fact that they said we have 3 other interviews going on right now in his mind, she's talking, and he wants her out.
Yeah, he saw spots and ringing in his ears when they said that. There was a response that you could see from behind. I agree with that. Let's keep going.
In the car, I did steal the watch and stuff, but
Well, we don't care about
that's
that.
not what we're investigating. I understand, but I'm just saying, I was literally just so quick to get out of the car, not touch anything. Then once that car got moved to Langford, anything after that, I have no clue about what happened to that car.
Okay.
Anyone that touched
But
it.
when that got moved to Langford, that was on, actually, 2 days after you had the car.
Understand.
Right.
Okay.
The 6th.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the 6th
So
and
the
the 8th.
6th, you were supposed to meet him, and you
Again,
say
I
you
don't
didn't.
remember what dates.
You say you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're telling me that he must have left his phone in the car.
There was a bag of stuff, like a. Because I'm telling you, I know because I know that people like that do use multiple phones. So I'm saying
I agree 100%.
It's not uncommon.
I agree.
I'm
not going to deny that.
No, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
Right, and I'm
Okay.
all right.
And you went back to your house right away with it, the car.
Went back to my house right away with it.
Okay. And you didn't touch that car at all until you brought the car down to Langford, right?
Well, no, I told you the one time when I went out to the car with a police officer, I went to go through the car. That's it.
Okay. But that's it.
Other than that, yeah, I told you when I grabbed the watch and stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
What happened to the cell phone?
I don't know.
But
okay.
This is what
I'm
this
telling
is
you,
what
I don't know though.
Okay, but
I honestly have no clue.
But I'm just gonna lay the facts out because you're somebody that enjoys knowing the facts. We know the tracking of the phone. We worked very hard, and
It actually doesn't stay by your house.
right,
all that
it
long.
moves. it moves a short distance, a very short distance. So I'm going to ask you this question, because you know, and I start with this because you know, I'm not trying to fool you in any way. You know, large stores and you know, different businesses nowadays have all kinds of surveillance exterior. I'm
Okay.
telling you that ahead of time.
Okay.
I'm giving you that ahead of time.
I understand.
So my question now is, the phone moves, but it doesn't move very far.
No, what do you mean very far?
Moves very close, actually, in close proximity to your residence, and that's what makes us wonder if the phone might have. Listen, if the phone wound up in a garbage can, if the phone wound up in a storage bin, if the phone wound up anywhere, to us, it's our job. Our bosses come to us and want to know step by step, A through Z. So it might not make a hill of beans in the report. However, if I can't answer to my boss, Pam can't answer to her boss.
The phone ended up somewhere close to me?
The phone moved, but it moved a very short distance.
I understand, but I'm telling you, you guys always say that you catch me alive, but I'm telling you right now, I didn't touch the phone. Didn't even know that there was a phone. I'm being honest with you guys. Being honest with you.
You didn't know there was a phone?
Did not.
Okay.
So when did you
wanna know
find the
something?
phone in the
believe you.
bag?
Yes. I'm not telling you whether if you got I don't even believe shit. I'm trying to be honest with you guys. Okay, I fucked up. I mean, I tried covering up a little shit here and there, but I want to go home tonight. And the only reason why I want to go home tonight is because I want to see my beautiful mother. I miss her, so I'm trying to be as honest with you guys right now as possible.
We appreciate that.
All right, and I'm sorry I've been such an asshole, and
You
I've
haven't
been
been an
completely.
asshole.
I have been
I
completely
don't.
honest, and that's the
Well,
same thing.
That's part of our job. Sometimes people make impulse decisions. I make them. I wouldn't be divorced if I didn't make impulse decisions.
It was just there. I
Joe,
took the car. I
sometimes-
didn't think this would ever happen. Like, I never
Sometimes-
even thought.
Sometimes people make impulse decisions. I think that was an
But
impulse
an impulse
decision.
decision to take the car and then it turns
But it's
into
a
a
mistake.
murder, like.
But that's a
But now,
mistake.
but
We
yeah, that's a
haven't gotten
mistake.
to
But
the
now
murder.
I'm being here,
Well,
questioned
what do you
for
think
murder.
happened to True?
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't
Well,
know.
he was supposed to meet with you, right?
Yes, and he never
he
came
never
to my
showed
house. I
up.
took his car. I
And
know he
he-
never showed up.
You know, but you have to understand from our perspective.
Right.
Can I
Yeah.
talk to you, please?
Yeah, what's
You
up?
want me to step out, Joe?
Please.
You know what we're investigating. We haven't lied to you. We haven't lied.
Ma'am, I understand. I'm not going down. I didn't do anything. I stole the
Then
man's
help
car.
us.
I'm trying, but how am I supposed to help you if I can't? I don't know.
So here's the thing. You got to tell us everything else that you know. You got to stop lying and trying to cover up the things that you have done because you know that that's not. I don't care about some weed. I don't care about a watch. I don't care about moving or
I
stealing.
know you
your
care
car.
about the murder, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm literally telling you everything I know, but I don't know anything.
All right. Can I get water? All right. Give me a couple minutes, all right?
Fuck! Why'd I steal this fucking car? Dumb! I didn't do anything wrong. I took the car. Oh, Joseph, you're a fucking idiot. You're a dumbass. Alright, well, tell them the truth about how you knew the car was there. Oh, you moved it. Come on, don't fuck up this time, please. Stop lying, Joe. You got a bad enough habit of lying. Let's do it.
This is what we're going to tell you, too. And I feel like we're doing you a favor here of telling you this before you tell us the final song, the final version. Okay, Joe? What we want to do is we want to make sure that those that have had some involvement in this, give us their story.
Okay.
At the same time, Joe, what we want to do is we want to separate those that have had no dealings with this.
What'd you tell Raquel about what happened?
because we know that there was conversation. So I'm trying to kind of give you, Joe, little hints here, but it's important.
And here's the thing. If your story doesn't match up with her story, then one of you is lying. And if you want her to get out of here soon...
That's how people wind up involved in investigating.
I told her that I was going to take the car.
Okay.
I told her that I found the watch. I told her that we moved her to Langford.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what else she would know.
Okay, and as usual, interrogation, I know we're running over, but I'm going to play this through. I feel like we skip through some of it. It will have a hole in the story. But where do you think this guy's at right now? He had an emotional breakdown when they left. Of course, he was saying out loud that I'm guilty of everything but murder. Everything that he's admitted to so far, so I don't think there was real evidentiary value there. But if you were the quarterback, Jason, sitting in the monitor room, would you be encouraged by that emotional breakdown that we saw while the investigators were out of the room?
He's acting. He's playing the camera, would be my thought.
I think there was some real stress there that he felt like he had to blow off, and I think that's the way he chose to do it. It would tell me that, me personally, I think I would see that as at least I know I'm putting some pressure on him.
Yes, but I also think he's trying to show that he's confessing to things, everything but the murder, in his statement. I still think deep inside he's trying to get out of the murder.
100%. I think him playing with the paper towel, the position we're in now, I think he's almost realized he's defeated. He's just kind of hanging on to see what's going to happen next. But he's admitting now. He's like, okay, I told her I told her what I've already told you. I told her the same thing. Pretty much is where he's at now. But I think the best ploy they have going right now is he doesn't know who they're talking to. In his mind, he thinks that girlfriend just is in another room. And what she just said, your story needs to match up to hers. They're completely lying to him. He doesn't know that, but that's fucking with him. No, 100%. I think there's a ton going on in his head. I think the dog's still circling. He hasn't found his spot to lay down, but he's circling it for sure. Lucian, did you like that?
Which part in particular? The way they set him up to be by himself?
The results once when they left the room, his reaction.
Oh yeah, I think he was trying to get out what he wanted to say when they come back. He was anticipating them asking additional questions, so he's rehearsing some of that. Maybe some of it was for the camera. Looking at his past behavior, I think he was actually just trying to say the words out loud so it would be easier for him. I think he was rehearsing. But yeah, he's right on the edge right now.
I agree. Fitchy, what do you think about his emotional outburst or where we're at now?
Yeah, I think that was all the reasons Lucian mentioned. And I think he's about to break.
Well, let's see.
Did you have a conversation with her about Troop going missing?
Yeah.
Does she know True?
No.
Never met him?
She never met him.
Okay.
So you talked to her about him going missing?
Do you remember what the conversation was about? About, what you said to her?
No, I don't.
You don't remember if you said, hey, guy I deal with or I was supposed to buy from the other day just got, just showed up.
I know we had a conversation, but I honestly you know what? Do me one huge favor.
What's that?
Can you please step out of there for 2 minutes?
Yeah, not a problem. Here's your pen.
Thank you.
You got it.
All right. Man to man, you're sitting across the table looking me in the eyes.
I'll answer anything you want.
You guys asked me multiple times tonight to tell you the truth about what happened to Troop. Leading me to, I guess, go back and you guys already know what you think you know. All right?
Correct.
And you guys are much smarter than everyone else thinks you are, and I'm not dumb. I know you guys are smart people.
Thank you.
Okay. So tell me, man to man, we're sitting in this room. You guys have all the evidence you could possibly say. You got 8 boxes.
We do.
What's going on?
Okay. This is what I will tell you. We didn't just happen upon you tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 8 or 9 boxes of evidence, and we have been on this. I kid you not, I've probably done 4 hours of sleep in the last 4 or 5 days. All that being said, everything I've told you in the beginning, which leads up to what I'm going to tell you. I'm sorry if I kicked you there, man. Which leads up to the beginning is we tried to go after the people that we think can paint the picture for us. We try to analyze the incident itself. We did analyze this incident. We don't believe this was a premeditated. Let me take that back. We believe that a part of what happened to True Pal might have been premeditated. What we don't believe, what I don't believe, I should say, is I don't believe anybody intended for somebody to get hurt. You have to think carefully, because, again, we already have the answers that I'm going to be asking you.
Okay.
Could there be any evidence, anything linking to Patel located in your car, her car, or the house? Because if there is, now is the time before we.
You raid my house?
Well,
That'd be a possibility?
Well, that's a possibility.
Wow. That's fucking nuts. No.
But let me ask you, Joe.
No.
Joe, it's.
How you guys doing?
I mean, no, that's,
Need a few more
I didn't think
minutes?
it would get that serious, but no, there's nothing there, you're fine.
No, I mean, can she come back?
You can come back in. I'm just really feeling like very, very sick.
I know you are. I
Very
know
sick.
you are, Joe. And what I was just telling Joe, and I'll just recap it for parents. You know, Joe wanted to know about going home tonight, and I explained to him that.
I just wish you guys would be more real with me. Like, come on.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
like,
be as real as
look,
possible.
you guys are smart as shit. We all know that. Like, come on.
Joe,
Like,
Joe, we told you that there's more that you're not telling us, and we
I'm
know
gonna
it.
vomit. I'm gonna vomit.
Oh, if you're gonna vomit, then we're gonna have to take you somewhere, because I will
You want me
vomit
to get
if
you a
you
trash
vomit.
bag? Yeah. Can I get
This
you
is
something?
just too much. Like, I'm honestly.
Are you
overwhelmed.
serious? Are you gonna vomit? You want me to get you a garbage can?
I don't know. Let me just relax. 2
Let me-
seconds.
I'm
2
gonna get it
seconds.
for you, all right? Let me
Yes,
do that.
folks, this is back-to-back vomiting episodes.
Very forthcoming.
Raquel's being very forthcoming, so
Because she knows that her back's against the wall.
she is. I mean, if she
She
truly
doesn't
wasn't
want
involved,
to
I
do
would
that.
imagine.
It's a big deal, bud. I will tell you that Raquel is telling us a lot. Let me put it to you this way. You tell us what we want to know and the
I
whole
love
truth
that.
about everything that happened to Troop. And you do it now, and before she walks out the door, I'll see what I could do about you guys spending a moment together.
Before she walks out the door. So she is going home today.
Well, if
That's
you,
up to you.
That's, yeah.
That's your decision.
My
That's
life's
well
over.
played too.
Why? You're young. You're 20. You're 20. What?
Young, I'm about to go on vacation. I'm supposed to leave for the Marines. My life's fucking over now. I'm sorry. Like, that's gonna happen.
I will
That's
tell
gonna
you
Mom,
happen.
and he's coming out, okay?
Nah, like, that's
I
gonna
don't
happen.
make promises.
I
You
know
don't
no one
make
makes promises,
We
but
don't
you're,
make promises, but
We can't, to be honest with you, we're not even allowed to discuss that kind of stuff.
no, we don't make promises. But I have seen people
Bounce back.
turn
Nah,
their
I'm-
life around from things like this.
I want to pause this on the legal aspect. Jason, when they say we're not even allowed to talk about promises or make a deal in there, if you tell me this, then we'll try to we'll do something for you outside of maybe smoke a cigarette or meet someone. What are the legal aspects behind investigators promising something in exchange for a confession?
you can't make promises, but you can lie to them, and it's kind of a slippery slope. If Miranda was read, anything goes. I think that kind of sums it up. So you can tell him whatever you want once Miranda's read. Anything goes at that point, as long as he keeps talking. I never offered legal advice. I never tried to offer promises, but I have lied to suspects. Exactly what they're doing here to create a scenario in his brain that he's fucked.
Yeah, and I get the you don't have to be truthful during an interrogation, but we were prohibited or advised not to by I think all of the district attorneys in the jurisdictions that I worked, that you couldn't make promises for like leniency or a plea bargain or anything like that. That you had to steer away from that during an interrogation. In Texas, one of the things you do when you plead guilty, you have to raise your hand and you have to say that you weren't coerced or promised anything in exchange for a guilty plea. And if in the jurisdictions I worked in, the DA looked at it the same way for an interrogation. I thought it was interesting the way she said we're not even allowed to discuss things like that, because that in my jurisdictions, that's the way it was. We wouldn't have been able to say, I'll try to get your probation. I'll do it. Now we could say, I'll talk to the DA for you. I'll talk to the people that could make a decision for you. But I mean, I can't make that promise for you here today.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I meant was, I mean, if he asked, can I get probation? I'll say, I'll put a good word in for you. I'll see what I can do. And you don't say no or yes. You just kind of leave it open-ended.
And Hawkwolf says, say it ain't so. Y'all can't lie. I promise you, if you're sitting in the chair with no wheels, you should ask for an attorney, because you don't know what's about to come your way. Investigators and police officers can absolutely lie in this type of setting. All right, let's get back to it.
I have nothing left. Like there's people that have something that they can grab onto.
Mm-hmm.
That girl in that room is the last thing that I have left. The last thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is no, oh yeah, you have something holding you, making you want to strive to do better. That girl in there brought me from 0 to 100. She has brought me down from the lowest point I could ever be, and I don't care if she were to even say if I did everything. That is still the love of my life.
She loves
I
you.
get that. She
All right,
cares
and-
about you.
All right, so
There's no doubt the love between the two of you exists. We all see it. We all feel it.
And I think she wants you
I
to
feel
do
like
the right
something's
thing.
wrong. Something's wrong here. I feel like you
She
guys,
knows.
someone's lying to me.
Who?
I don't know. Someone's lying to me.
Listen, she's in a tough spot. Wouldn't you agree?
All the suspects were lying are sitting in this room right now.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, she's in a tough spot, but I don't want to be lied to.
We
What do
haven't
you-
lied to
I
you
haven't said
at
anything
all
untrue.
this evening since I met you, Joe. And nor has Pam.
Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Don't say
I'm gonna
that.
die. No, I'm
Don't say
dying.
that.
I'm dying. 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 I'm
Why
dying.
are
I'm
you
dying. I'm
saying
dying.
that? Why are you saying that?
I'm gonna write down 2 notes. All right. If you guys want to give me time, I'm gonna write down just 2 notes.
Mhm.
I would like them both to be given to Raquel.
Absolutely.
All right, and once it's, you guys are welcome to look at them before it's
Sure.
as soon as I give them to you, you guys can do whatever you want. But I would
Whatever. I promise you,
I
I
want
will take
one
it
to
down
be
there.
brought to. Well, I want both of them to be brought to Raquel, and one's gonna be for Raquel, one's gonna be for my mom.
You got
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Is this a good sign, Jason?
Yeah, very good sign. He's ready to just spill it all. He's total in protection mode of his girlfriend.
Right. It's almost like a last will and testament.
Yeah.
I want my word to get out beyond these walls. Lucian, do you see that as a good sign?
Well, yeah, for a confession, yeah, he's trying to set things up, but the fact that he's trying to communicate with other people tells me that he feels like he's probably taken the fall for something. I don't know what the other elements are, but trying to get that communication out is basically, I got this. I'm covering for something.
That could be. I doubt that he would be able to get those notes that he's going to write out without the inspection of investigators for sure. And I know, folks, Lucian struggles with this. Lucian does a little different type of, or his experience is in a little different type of interrogations or solicitation or elicitation even. Lucian is looking to take some guy like this and have them drop off an envelope in Vienna at 8 o'clock in the evening. So Lucian takes a little different stances on these. He and I have talked about it back channel. He says he feels like his input's not good, but I assure you, everyone on the panel believes your input is spot on most of the time. There's a few times I disagree with you, but I disagree with Jason more. But I just wanted to say that, Lucian, that we do appreciate you coming in and spending the evening with us and giving us your input. It is valued.
I actually listened to Lucian more than you, Joe.
That's out of anger, though, Jason. That's just out of anger, not out of necessity.
No, not true. Keep going.
Pidgey, do you want to chime in before we finish this one off?
No, I'm good. I know we're out of time.
Well, we're running on it. We're gonna watch this through. I think we should. Here we go.
She can let her go free.
Okay. Why is that?
Yeah.
You killed Trooper? Talk.
Just tell us. We know it was a mistake.
We've talked with you for a long time. We've never felt that you were once planned this.
No, I don't think you set out for this to happen.
Okay, I did it. Raquel had nothing to do with it. I had told her I had done it, but that's it. She had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
All right, I want her out. Look, I told you guys what I did.
Well, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we have to just get some details.
I believe you.
No, I
100%.
can't. I really don't want to go into details. I just cuff me, take me where you guys gotta take me. You gotta let her out.
This isn't how we play the game.
We don't
we
just
have,
allow you
like
to
I
make a
said, we have
blanket.
voices to call, and
fuck.
The hard part is over, man. The hard part is over. You made your determination.
All right, I did it. Right, that's it. I said it. You guys got me.
Well, no, you did what? You blew your nose? I mean, you have to give us some details here.
I don't know.
We don't know all, and we don't know every bit of the minutia.
We need you to help us.
I really
make this
don't know if
happen.
I can. Like, I really don't know if I can.
Come on.
There is like a really, and I'm telling you this just from the one side of me. I don't care what your boss said. No, he's not going home tonight. There is a very, very, very huge side of me that wants to call upon a lawyer and get me out of here tonight.
Okay. Well,
But I'm asking you guys. I'm asking you guys to help me. I'm asking from parents, help me as someone you're looking down upon. Help.
About you. We do care about you. This is what I will say, and Pam is going to echo the same sentiments, and everyone in that room in the back is going to echo the same sentiments. We explain your rights to you, and we do it, and Pam did it in such a way because it's important to us, and it's important. I just need you to listen to this.
I'm sorry.
And it's important that you understand and that we respect everything about what we read to you on that paper. It's more than just a paper with words, okay? It's very important.
Before we get into Raquel round two, as an investigator, what this male investigator just said, I echo that sentiment. I felt very strongly about Miranda warnings. I played by the rules. If someone wanted an attorney, if they ask for it, now if they ask me for advice, well, I'm not going to tell you whether you need. How do I know? But if someone asked for one, I never crossed those lines. I took those very seriously. Jason, I would suspect you do too. How do you feel about what he just said? Was that genuine, or is that more smoke to try to get him to keep talking?
No, that was genuine. It's done at that point. I would have done exactly what he did, and she did. She packed up her shit, and it was done.
Right, because he was clear enough that he wanted an attorney. Although he'd already said he did it, we just don't have the details, but it's probably going to be enough. Now, Lucian and Fidge, you guys aren't in law enforcement, but are you surprised to find out that police officers, the sentiment that he said, I say is completely genuine for him, and it was genuine for me, and Jason says it's genuine for the way he views it as well. Are you guys surprised to find that police officers take these things almost as sacred as the Constitution?
Go ahead, Fidge.
No, actually, because they know what's ahead. A lot of money. a lot of time, lawyers being stuck in jail. No, I don't. I think they're happy that it's an achievement, but at the same time, they know what's ahead for that guy.
Okay, Lucian.
Yeah, I think I'm not really surprised, but I think that sentiment is going to vary by level of officer and what area they're in. I will tell you that because of the nature of the things that I do, I'm less worried about an individual's rights. And I know that's going to sound a little weird to say, but I also don't want to put people in harm's way. So I think there's that human aspect that goes along with any of these roles that's directly related to your level of commitment to the job that you're doing. I'm not entirely convinced that I would say all officers would feel that way. I think at the investigator level, probably.
Officers would not be in this room right now. It'd be detectives.
I'm sorry, I'm using more of a generic term, right?
Okay.
All law
All
enforcement.
I would say my experienced officers I worked with, and it was on investigator level. I don't know, maybe patrol, maybe not. But I think when you get to the level that you're doing this, I think that we do hold those, they're cherished. I always looked at it as that's not only the suspect's right, it's my right, and it's a constitutional right. I took it seriously. But let's,
Real quick, Joe, the other thing too is this is recorded. If this goes to court and they continue the conversation, the case is gone. So if they get details on that, they can't use those details in court. So investigators know that we're in a recorded room. He asked for this. Anything after that point, now we look like shit in court.
all right, but there's a different. You could dismiss yourself as an investigator in different ways. Like, all right, cool, Cat, I'm out of here. You're done. You just don't ask any more questions. I'm saying him taking the time to say that I think was heartfelt, and it just echoed a sentiment that I've had.
I agree. No, yes.
Now, this is Raquel coming back. Interestingly enough, she has invoked that she would like an attorney present during questioning. We'll have to talk about how she's back in here after some things were revealed in Joe's interview.
I had called Detective Tazi because your boyfriend just told the other detectives that he told you what happened. And I told her, you need to come back here, if you would like to just get this behind you and get the weight off your shoulders.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Here it is the same day she has evoked her right to have attorney present during questioning, but yet she's back here again. How are they able to get away with that, Jason?
Is the female her attorney?
No.
She came, if they didn't reach out to her, she must have reached out to them that I want to come back and talk.
No, they asked her to come back and she did.
Well, that could be a problem.
I think that he said she had nothing to do with it. He took her off the hook. If I believe what he says, which I do as an investigator, he says she has nothing to do with it. I did it. That girl had nothing to do with it. Well, did you talk to her about it? Well, yeah, I talked to her about a couple of things here and there. So I think they're bringing her back in as a witness, and as a witness, you don't have the protection of having an attorney present because you're not a suspect. I think they switched her category, most likely with the prosecutor's approval. I think they switched her category to witness to bring her back in to talk.
Never done that. It's interesting, but okay.
I've never done it. I have interviewed people that have evoked have an attorney present, and then they wanted to waive that, and I had to get approval through the DA's office. And if it wasn't within 7 days, the DA wouldn't want to talk about it. Beyond 7 days, though, you can do the whole totality, the circumstances, everything that you've got going. And I've had approval to go back and allow them to waive their rights. But there's a cool off period that was required in the jurisdictions that I worked. But I think that's the only way they can get away with it here. Is that you evoked your privilege because we thought you were a suspect, but now you're not. So now you can just come back and talk to us.
Yeah, up here, it's got to be on the female would have had to say, "Okay, I'll talk." They have to initiate the conversation, not the other way around.
And I'm assuming on this. I don't know exactly how they were able to pull this, but I know that it didn't go undiscussed. And I think the only way you could be where they're at today without exactly what you're saying, hey, I changed my mind, I want to come back and talk. Although even in my jurisdictions, even if they change their mind, I can't talk to you without DA's approval. And like I say, it wasn't 7 days, then DA didn't want to talk about it. But let's see what she's got to say.
Okay. You agreed to come back here, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody is forcing you to do anything, is that correct?
Correct.
You're finally realizing that it's time to do the right thing and to just get this negative stuff out of your body, is that correct?
Correct.
I just want to read to you real quick the Miranda rights that we read to you earlier, okay? I just need you to be truthful. Take a deep breath and tell us what happened.
So Triple went to Joey's house on Monday, and while I was at work, and they started arguing. I guess it got really physical. Triple was threatening him that people were gonna come to his house, kill him, because Joey freaked out.
You had a conversation with Joey. When
Joey didn't say anything to me until
you saw something.
I saw the Facebook page that said, like, help find Trooper or missing Trooper or whatever it was called. And then he just looked at me very seriously and said that something happened and I can't talk about it.
I'm going to ask you a question. When we interviewed, look at me. When we interviewed you the first time, you said something about a gunshot wound to the head. Do you want to know something? Nobody knows about that. What did Joey tell you about that? How did he tell you he killed him?
Shot him.
How many times?
He didn't say that.
Whose gun did he use to shoot him?
Guess his dad's.
Where exactly in the house did this happen?
Garage.
What did he do with his body?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Did you see his body?
No.
Did you help clean up?
No.
Do you know where exactly in the garage that he shot him and killed him?
No.
Do you know if he died right away?
No. I have no idea.
Do you know if anybody helped him?
Do you feel much better right now that you're finally being honest with us? Look at me.
Yeah.
If one of your family members was murdered,
I know.
wouldn't you want
I know.
people to be truthful? Do you know how much satisfaction it's going to give us to be able to go to Trupel's family and tell them the details of this incident? I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you involved in this murder?
No.
Were you there when Trupel was murdered?
No.
Now, this is an important question with regards to the what we call desecration of human remains. Basically, dumping a dead body on the roadside. What involvement do you have in that?
Absolutely zero.
You need to clean the bullets. Take your time bleaching everything, the whole entire door and outside. Babe, you need to move that car. It's too important, like ASAP. People will start noticing he's not answering. And always remember, the best way to get away with murder is to smile. These are text messages they pulled off her phone. This is Raquel and Joe depositing money that was taken from the victim into her bank account. And here's your outcome.
Ultimately, Joe was charged with aggravated manslaughter and armed robbery, resulting in a 40-year prison sentence. Though he tried to protect his girlfriend, ultimately Raquel got what she deserved. After reviewing the text messages between the two and studying her lack of remorse, a judge sentenced Raquel to 33 years in prison on several charges. Originally, she was offered a 10-year plea deal and denied it. Seems to me that she really believed that smiling would help her get away with murder.
There's our two interrogations. Went over quite a bit, but I just feel like we couldn't cut that back. Before we go, Actually, let's go around. Let's talk about this one as far as how this ended up. Jason, what's your overall assessment?
I thought the detectives did a great job on the guy. I'm still questioning how they got the girl back to come in and talk, but obviously they had after seeing the text messages. I'm wondering if after what he said, maybe there was a arrest warrant for her. If the text messages were there and it was a Miranda statement, again, I'm assuming, I don't know, but no, those two detectives did a phenomenal job. I was very impressed.
Lucian, your overall impression of this last one?
Yeah, I was impressed. I figured she had something to do with it. I didn't think that she'd have that level of coldness. It kind of looks like she's got some sort of personality disorder, but not knowing the motive and circumstances, I think it's interesting that the text messages were basically like, yeah, and this is how you do this. That's weird to me. So I don't know if she actually directed him to plan something or if she was just so void of personality that she didn't have any problem coming up with the recovery plan.
Well, and I think that the timestamps on that these text messages are coming in real time as instructions of what you need to do next and the next step. So that's some pretty strong implication that it wasn't just information you received after the fact, that you were a participant, at least in giving advice on how to clean a crime scene, I guess. Fidji, what'd you think about the whole thing?
I thought that was kind of wild that she was texting him to clean the bullets on a phone that was recording that. Not much attention to detail, but I didn't figure they were going to let her go.
Folks, remember, the internet's forever, and so is your cell phone. Anything you put across there could be revealed at some point. But before we go, Jason, of course, he's our expert witness on Fridays for the grand jury police video review show, and of course, he comes in and gives his input on our interrogations. He's a good friend of the shows that we do, but we're also a very strong advocate for the 3D response system. It is a comprehensive system that covers a school from trying to discover someone who may intend harm to children or some sort of a catastrophic event, and noticing it before, or identifying it before it happens, safeguards and protection for staff and children inside of a school if the horrible event were to happen, and also the aftermath with the psychological needs that are going to be required in the event of something where this were to happen. It's called the 3D response system. You go to 3dresponse.com. Spend 15 minutes. You can't just do a quick read on this and get the full view on what this system does. But it is a system that I think if you spend 15 minutes, you're going to be talking about it to your school board members. You're going to talk to it about to your politicians. This is something that needs to be in every school. It's a game changer. It's not arming teachers. It's not making schools look like a prison. You can't even tell the 3D response systems in there. It's super impressive. But here's a look. There you go. That's 3D response. Guys, if you want more information or if you want to talk to Jason, DM directly on X or DM myself or anybody else that you see on the panel here. We're all on X. shoot us a DM. More than happy to break that down and explain more to you and what you can do to try to get that into your school. I'll be quite frank with you. You can't find a negative side. Even if you did the cost per square foot, it's a lot cheaper than refinishing your school's gym floor. But could be the difference between life and death for children someday. Guys, that is the end of our show. Catch us on Friday. We've got the grand jury. Five brand new grand jury members will be there with us on Friday, and we have some great videos to go over. Thank you guys for sitting on the panel tonight and giving us your input. Catch us in about 20 minutes on X. We'll do an after party there, and we can talk about it a little bit more. Thank you.
Did you ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Fichettes?
No.
You
I
think-
don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of independent criminal. Got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempted criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made. Have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made. Are you a known racketeer?